Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 So life ain't easy, yo, I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're doing well this wonderful Sunday afternoon.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button on your way into the show today.
Today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wonderful day today. We got some new photos out, some beautiful what would we call these, headshots? These headshots are now officially being debuted. I was actually saying last night, I was looking on San Bernardino Sheriff's Office. I'm like, when are they going to get these mug shots out? And finally, they are out. Now, we're learning a lot of information, but before we get started on baby Emmanuel, there have been other cases that we have been covering that we have not given our audience an update on, although we were heavily involved in those cases. So we're going to be giving you guys an update first. I believe it is, who are we on first? Oh, Sebastian Rogers. So there is some updates. If you guys know, there is a boy. He's from Hendersonville, Tennessee. He was 15 years old when he disappeared. He disappeared on February. Actually, let me see if I can get that go on up. Oh, good gracious. My face went big on that one, didn't it? Hi, guys. So let me move myself over here because these are the animals right here that we're looking at. So Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers disappeared from his home on February 26, where he was only with his mother, and his mother's the redhead down at the bottom. And the story just doesn't make sense. And then we find out that he allegedly walked out of the house without shoes. The problem is this child was autistic. He didn't like bugs. He hated a lot of stuff outdoors. He doesn't like dirt. He's allergic to grass. I mean, and furthermore, no scent. There was no scent that law enforcement could pick up with this boy walking out onto the grass and or concrete barefoot, and there's no stinking scent of Sebastian. But there are a flashlight video that came out a few weeks after that report of him walking out. They were adamant that he was not abducted. They wanted to make sure everybody knew how secure their home was, because this is exactly what they did not want to have to deal with. Well, there were some people that went out, and, you know, I'm not trying to, these people seem lovely, okay? I want to make sure that I explain this, you know, from my perspective without, you know, too much. And I don't want to be disrespectful, because I'm always about people getting out and being involved. Thank you, Melanie. Melanie says, happy Sunday. Ooh, that's kind of cutting off there. Let me see if I can make that a little bit bigger. There we go. Did I cut that off? Maybe I don't even have it on here. Hold on a second. Which I do not. Hold on. Hold on. We do have the pop out. Okay, so why isn't it showing up on here? Okay, well, either way, we'll get back to the other screen and I'll show this up. Melanie just did a super chat. She says, happy Sunday, Betty, Delilah, mods, and chat. I hope everyone is doing well. Much love to all. If you guys haven't noticed, we've been doing a lot of positive affirmations inside our chat. So if you guys would like to, please put words of affirmation in there, some positivity. If you've got something positive to say, nothing real. I mean, you can talk about the cases, of course, but we really are trying to drive a positive message as an uplifting people in our chat. So if you've got something positive to say, especially it being a Sunday, please consider putting your chat in there. You can do that free of charge just by typing in the little bar down below. So I do appreciate the Resin Mama. Thank you for becoming the newest member of this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Where is my... There it is. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room and welcome aboard. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Got a secret? You can keep it. Appreciate it. Much love to all. Much love to all. So anyways, these people, they're like the McCoy, something antique, something or other. And he's a retired sheriff, okay? And they actually believed the Proudfoot story at the beginning. And I never did. I mean, after the green shirt interview, and it wasn't, you know, I was kind of on the fence if I was over analyzing these people or not, okay? And then Chronicles of Olivia, which you guys know is like a BFF. She's like a little sister to me. She ended up being out in the area for Riley Strain. I was broke down here in Florida. I couldn't get there. And so she had an opportunity to go meet these people about their missing son. She had no idea about this case. She had no idea who she was going to meet. She had no idea what the details of the case. She was just flying by the seat of her pants. She had an opportunity to get some more footage of somebody's child missing that she could help advocate for. And so she went in there kind of blind, which in all fairness was a blessing in disguise, because she was able to be very, very, very authentic and get them to speak. The problem is when they spoke to Olivia, that was when there were so many significant changes in their story that people that weren't paying attention were now paying attention. So we caught them in several lies on this interview with Olivia, and that was it. I was done. At that point, I was off the fence. I realized these parents were responsible. Their story's not making sense. We know the cardinal rule in law enforcement: who's the last person with them, who has the motive, means, and opportunity. What are the statistics? What are the statistics with kids with autism and the abuse that they suffer at the hands of their parents, etc., etc., etc. Everything winds up coming right back to his home, right back to his mother. And then lo and behold, Nick Barris out there in Nashville, Tennessee, runs a story and brings some new evidence to light. And thank you, Monique. And that new evidence that was brought to light was the flashlight videos. Now we literally have people that appear to be walking from the side of the Proudfoot home. And when our people look at that video, when we blow it up, when we enhance it, not modify it, enhance it, clear it up, take the image and just start softening up the pixelation and see what we see. We see a blob carrying a large blob out to an unknown vehicle. Now, who has the motives, means, and opportunity to either remove Sebastian from the home or injure him to the point they had to get rid of him in the middle of the night? Well, there's only two people, and that's Chris and Katie Proudfoot. Well, these people, this McCoy folks, they look like lovely people. Let's be honest. They don't look like they have a mean bone in their body. Okay. But this is indicative of a lot of backwood country policing, in all fairness. And it's no disrespect to them. Like I said, they appear to be lovely people. Like I can see myself, speaking with them for hours. They're just that kind of lovely country folk. But, the lovely country folk believe anybody and everybody. They believe the good in anybody and everybody. And that is what we're dealing with when we're dealing with Tennessee. Even this man that has been in law enforcement, I think he said 20 or 30 years, is duped by the Proudfoots. Like many of the law enforcement in their own community, they were duped. And that's why Sebastian Rogers' case keeps stalling. It's law enforcement. It's nobody else. I am utterly convinced, especially after hearing these. I don't want you guys being mean to these folks or anything like that. This is just my personal opinion. I've got no mean bone to these people. I'm just, astonished that this person has this type of pedigree in law enforcement and couldn't see the trees or the forest for the trees. You know what I'm saying? It just, it makes me feel, just like, he's not getting a fair shake. He's not getting his moment that he needs with law enforcement. I never really felt law enforcement in Sebastian's case. I felt like we were fighting with law enforcement more than they were actually even helping in this case. Like half the time they just, outside of the major search and the, publicity, when it just became Sumner County having to answer for themselves, it's like they lawyered up, nobody likes that in leaders. That's not a leader. Y'all, leaders don't put their tail between their legs and run. That's not leaders. You vote these people in office to stand when things go terribly wrong and tell you what the F is going on. That's what you're hiring them for. We got this sheriff that hasn't even spoken since April 2nd, 2024. In the highest publicity case that community has ever had in its history. He is so he's not the man for the job, and Sheriff Snuggle Struggles has got to be moved on out, and they need to get a real law and order sheriff up in Sumner County. I'm going to continue to say that. I'm not going to stop saying that. But it's Lauren from Facebook has been taking clips of that. Now I haven't quite gotten through the entire the entire footage. It's like an hour or an hour and a half conversation. You guys know me trying to pull an hour and a half for one sitting for a video is very hard. So I have to do it in bite-sized pieces. But Lauren on Facebook, she's got a clip on here, and it brought it to my attention, and it gave me an opportunity. And I need to change my backdrop here with these alibis because I need to put Sebastian's face on this. But I didn't have one I could find quickly on my computer. That's why I'm using this one. But I'd much rather have his face so I can advocate for him as opposed to the monsters in his life. Every single person you see up on my screen right now are terrible people that have treated that boy terribly. And he was an autistic boy. He was an autistic boy. And he was happy, everything. And so I don't know who's up in here. Who's Jonathan? Because if you're talking about, if we got trolls in here, get them on out. Get them on out. Actually, do we have the troll video? Let's go back. We got a troll.
Sneaky gremlins love to fight, but we're here to set it right. Jump and duck, let's take a shot. Turning trolls into what they're not. Whack a troll, let 'em tumble, let 'em roll. Swing your spatula or a stick. Whack 'em fast, whack 'em quick.
Whack 'em fast, whack 'em quick. Okay. All right. So she picked up some clips. I'm going to go ahead and get them on up here and play them for you. We're back on this one, but I just wanted you guys to learn about that because I know some people probably haven't. They probably haven't learned about the Sebastian Rogers case. It might have been before your time. So here we go. This is Lauren from Facebook, and you guys know how I am. Please go and support. We support people that support these cases, okay? We don't support really a whole lot of content creators that aren't here for the right reasons, okay? And I'm not talking about who's monetized, and that has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. Who's out here generating chaos in these cases, and who's out here trying to keep people informed on the cases? That's what I look for with people whenever I am producing stuff on my channel, when I'm showing their information on my channel. I do it one of two reasons. Now, I can put backdrops on here and you guys can never see the names. I could produce videos over these things and just use the content. There's a reason why I do it the way I do it. It's to promote the people that are working so you guys can be paying attention to the people that have the information and are doing the work. You know why? Because it helps all of us. At the end of the day, it's about the information, and it's about the good people that are out here providing that information to you guys and out here. So the people that I produce are typically people, sometimes I don't know. I've been following Lauren from Facebook for quite some time. So I'm very knowledgeable about the quality of her reporting. Okay. There are some TikTok people that, are just independent, like, local community journalists. They're out there just for their community. They're not really big, but they're out there on the scene. They still need some love too, because they're the ones feeding the rest of the world that are sitting behind their cameras and their microphones the information that we need to be able to tell all the people that we have that are interested in this case. So it's really a give and take, but it's everybody working together and trying to get as much information out to you guys as possible. This is for the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. One of the takeaways that I got when I've listened to this McCoy interview is Chris and his past tense. That has been a problem with both Katie and Chris, and we all know, even when they try, they're already convinced in their mind that their child is missing, okay, or gone, because they've been using past tense for a while. Even Katie, hashtag Katie Proudfoot. If you guys want to know why I say hashtag Katie Proudfoot instead of just Katie Proudfoot, it's a big FU to both Chris and Katie, which have lied about me on legal documents, and I'm fighting them in court right now. We are going to be getting justice for Sebastian, for me, and more importantly, for Seth. But it takes time. The wheels of justice turn and burn slowly. Okay, but this whole battle between me and the Proudfoots will be heating up in due time, and I do believe that we are ready. And if we're not ready, we will get ready very quickly for the legal battle up ahead. So, anyways, long story short, and the reason why I use hashtags is because the assholes in Sumner County arrested me for using hashtags in Florida. And the detective, Lisa Byington, which just so happened to retire, along with her, a piece of garbage, AG, which is that what was his name? He was the DA there. He just so happens to have retired. And then, lo and behold, $200 million budget deficit came in, which I believe was intentional. And I believe it's because of all of us making so much noise on social media about the bullcrap going on in Sumner County. The state of Tennessee and our federal government said, nope. And you know what? Nobody can say that I did that. Nobody can say that I did that, but I believe that is literally from all the audience out there reaching out to the governor, reaching out to the senators, reaching out to the state house. You guys were doing that, reaching out to community leaders. You guys were the ones driving that bus. But I can tell you there was hell for them to pay because of what they did. And I truly believe that $200 million that was taken from their budget, I believe that was because of this particular case. And all they had to do was just do what was right because it's the right thing to do. But they're corrupt. They have a good old boy system, and that is what I do not like. Those good old boy systems do nothing but hold power with people that don't deserve it and drive up your taxes because they're the ones pocketing your money. Okay? I don't like it. And if I start seeing it in any county, I speak out about any county, much like I do Sumner County. So here you guys go. And she picked up on
So this is what's going to kind of throw you off a little bit. Sebastian, all of his shoes are at the house.
Right.
All of my shoes are accounted for. All of Kitty's shoes are accounted for. So Sebastian walking out in the middle of the woods,
Yeah.
I struggle with that one because Sebastian was not a tomboy.
Yeah.
He really wasn't. I mean, I know this is going to sound crazy, but a fly, spiders,
Ooh.
even like a
interesting.
A Charlotte spider,
Mm-hmm.
Sebastian freaks out. That's not him.
Yeah.
Now, granted, we used to have snakes, and he was all about the ball pythons. He was all about that.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
But insects, no.
Oh,
No.
God love his heart. God love
He
his
was not a
heart.
kid that liked to get out there in the dirt and play with cars and trucks and Tonka toys like we all used to do as kids, back when kids could be kids,
Sure.
So he didn't go out
That's not
into.
Sebastian.
So he didn't like to go hiking or nothing like that then.
He liked hiking, but it wasn't like as we all used to do as kids, where we just walk off in the woods and we just
Yeah.
Right.
didn't care. And it's simple. There's the answers. When all this is said and done, there's only two answers that are going to come out of this. One,
Yeah.
Sebastian is going to come home safe and sound, but he's going to have some, he's not going to feel, he's going to need a lot of mental psychologists.
Sure.
That's the word I'm looking for. That's what he's going to need. Or two, Sebastian will be found dead
Yeah.
in the woods.
Sure.
Sick puppy. Heartless. Cold as ice. Cold as ice.
Everybody is formulating their idea of what's going on, who's guilty and who's not guilty.
Katie and I are guilty.
Well, we're guilty, but
Interesting. Okay, guys. So if you don't know who Lauren from Facebook is, I do recommend you going and, signing up or going and just subscribing to her on X as well as Facebook. She's been doing a lot of stuff for quite a while for this particular case, so I really do appreciate that. Give me just a second. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, it looks like we're doing good. All right, guys, I'm going to move on right now. Oh, thank you, Michelle in Georgia. I enjoy watching channel daily. I appreciate all the work you put into these cases. Aw, thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I lost my 18-year-old son to cancer. It was really horrible. Hello, you don't know how anybody could ever talk about a child like that, like the children are a blessing. They're from, amen, Carrie. And it's the total lack of, the one thing that we've noticed in a lot of these cases, even in the case that you guys see with baby Emmanuel, the lack of urgency from the parents. I think that these people, they tried. Like, they tried very hard to be upset parents. And I think the more they tried, the more we could see it, because it wasn't authentic. I truly believe us as human beings have seen emotions from our children, from our coworkers. We've experienced loss, whether it was our own children, whether it was our parents, whether it was an aunt, an uncle, or something like that. I feel like we've all ourselves have had been presented with grief, been presented with our heart being ripped out of our chest, our stomach being, our chest being in our stomach. I think that we expect people to act like we would act. And let's face it, we would not all act the same in the given circumstances, but the one thing that we would be doing, no matter what, if the circumstances were identical, we lost somebody we love, we would be grieving. Our eyes would be bloodshot because we're tired. We've been crying. I don't know about you, but every time I cry, my whites of my eyes turn bloodshot red. And if I'm crying, inconsolable and uncontrollable, my eyes, the top lids of my eyes, puff out like the Pillsbury Doughboy. I don't know, and I'm sure that's just me. Maybe some of you guys have that experience as well with you. Maybe that's the way every human is. I don't know. I only know for me. I don't know for you. But that's what happens to me whenever I'm upset. So the one thing we noticed about Chris and Katie is the lack of urgency and almost the cold-hearted, ice-cold, blood-in-the-vein behavior from both of them. Never mind learning about Seth, Sebastian's biological dad. And you saw nothing but heart in that man in trying to find out. And here's the last takeaway that I'm going to say right now in the Sebastian Rogers case, and we're going to be moving on, is one of the other statements Chris made that absolutely convinced me. He knew, Seth was not involved, and he almost sounded sympathetic. And the only way he would sound sympathetic is if he knew what happened to Sebastian. Because his statement was something like, look, I understand why Seth is an upset father. He misses his son. That doesn't sound like a person. And remember, this interview that they presented was over a year ago, or about a year ago. I think it was October 2024. I don't know exactly when it was, so maybe I shouldn't say the exact date. But I do know it was in 2024, and we're almost through 2025. So it was a significant time ago that this was recorded. So there's no possibility that I absolutely believe that Chris and Katie ever thought Seth was responsible. And almost the tone in his voice when he said it, he almost felt bad for Seth. And I can't imagine somebody feeling like that when you don't know what happened. You could hear it. And so I do hope all of you get an opportunity to go read that. All right, this next case is ultra sad. We're going to go try to get through this as quickly as possible, but it's a 12-minute intro video that I may stop. It depends on where it is, because these were all videos that I was making on TikTok and putting on YouTube, and I don't know which ones I actually produced the video versus which ones were just, talking shows. So if this is a talking show, I'm probably going to pull it and then I'll explain this case. We have some updates in this one. We're going to have some updates in the Devil's Den. We're going to have some updates in Jaden Spicer's case. And then we've got a massive, and I mean a massive amount of information that you are going to want to hear on baby Emmanuel Haro's case. I have been going through everything. I've been trying to piece this all together. I've been trying to organize it for you so it's in bite-sized pieces but flows well for you guys to retain the information as much as possible. So I'm trying to keep it, these lives not too long, but I'm trying to make sure that the information that's factual stays inside your cranium, so when you're out there and you're speaking about the case, you remember the details.
Very emotional. Mom, Wendy Decker,
this is
just
going to be
spoke
hard
at her 3 babies memorial.
You may have to get some tissue.
It is heartbreaking. It's hard not to cry. I have watched this several times, and it's very, very emotional.
I just have a short something to share. Good evening, and thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. You all look beautiful, and I know that Evie would have loved to ooh and ah over all of your outfits. She would have been amazed by all the color out there and just thought you guys look fantastic. You know that Peyton would have sought each and every one of you out to try to find something to give you a compliment for. She did that for everyone, whether it was in the grocery store or at school or with me, always telling me, "Oh, you look so beautiful, Mom, I love your earrings," or whatever it was that she could find. I wanted to share a means of connection the girls and I had that I think allowed them to have such warm and open hearts to the community around them. After my divorce, there were a lot of feelings flowing through my house. As you could imagine, me going through a divorce with 3 small, tiny women. Some of the feelings were easier to talk about than others. Through the girls' time with Children's Home Society and some incredible therapists, we discovered the 3 feelings. At night, during their bedtime routine, I would ask them what 3 feelings they felt during that day. No feeling too big or too small, and what was going on when they felt those feelings. For Peyton, she always had more than 3, consistently eager to tell me about every minute of her day. She was always interrupting her sisters to make sure I knew every single one. For Ev, we would talk about her feelings one-on-one, right at bedtime, because she wasn't always ready to share them with her sisters. And for Olivia, we were still working on how to describe all of her feelings, but beyond a shadow of a doubt, one was always happy. Even when I tried to avoid telling my feelings, which is so easy to do as an adult, I feel like, the girls, one of them would always say, "Wait, Mom, you didn't tell me what yours were," and make sure that I too would tell them what my 3 feelings were. I'm so thankful for the time that I had with the girls, and how the 3 feelings allowed us to connect when the world slowed down, and it really gave me an inside look into their day. I believe doing this with them allowed them to come into the world with open hearts and kindness. I hope that you are all able to do some version of the 3 feelings with your loved ones. Thank you everyone for being here tonight and the outpouring of love that you have shown me and my family over the past few weeks. I truly hope that the legacy of the girls' lives lives in everyone's heart forever. They were incredible.
Please don't forget to say a prayer for Wendy Decker, the mother of these 3 beautiful angels, and the emotional wreck she must be with her ex-husband on the loose and not knowing when this will end. God bless each and every one of you.
So, I'm here trying to fight back, tears. Did you guys feel that? Did you guys feel that? That is grief. That is uncontrollable emotion. We did not have to stand there with Whitney to feel that. Every person in this chat probably had a tear in their eye or goosebumps on their skin because that is powerful. You cannot fake that. And every time we have parents coming up here and they try to play us like a fool, we know. Why do we know? Because we've seen it all before. We've seen it all before. Give me a second. Let me move this out just a little bit and get us situated over here. So if you guys have followed me on here, I know I've got a lot of new people coming in because we've been covering the baby Emmanuel case. And maybe you didn't catch my coverage of the case of Travis Decker or the Manhunt. One of the things that I believe, he's got a lot of, he's military. His life was literally falling apart. He was just about to lose his transportation. He had already lost his insurance, and he was getting ready to lose his license because he had just gotten into 2 wrecks without insurance on his vehicle. So there was a lot going on in his life, and all he wanted, all he cared about was his 2 girls. Oh, good gracious, Pammy Bear. Thank you so much. Pammy Bear just gifted 10 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your Bullhorn Betty memberships, please don't forget to tell Pammy thank you. Thank you so much. And we're going to stay here for a minute because it's going to take a few seconds, probably about 30 seconds to get through the 10 that received your membership. So welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room and welcome aboard, you beautiful people. You're beautiful people. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the wonderful contribution to the show. I appreciate it. Absolutely, Pebbles. Absolutely. So we put a lot of factors into the analysis of this particular case, okay? Because we weren't there, boots on the ground. We had to kind of really rely on law enforcement. There wasn't a whole lot of citizen journalists out there covering this case. So a lot of our information was coming from the Chelan County Sheriff. Now, they were keeping us up to date with as much as they could possibly keep us up to date with, and we are very, very, very thankful. But I had always said and have maintained it through the course of this investigation that I truly believe that Travis Decker is within 5 to 10 miles of the campground. I truly believe within 5 miles of the campground, and I truly believe he is deceased. He has all the indicators of self-harm. He took his entire world out of this world. And at some point, I believe that he, this was an annihilation type of a situation. And so I anticipate that they're going to find his deceased body out there. But many people believe he can live off the grid and he's on the run. But everything that we learned from Whitney Decker, which I don't see why she would have a reason to, misrepresent him, but could she have been clouded or something? And there's that possibility, and I can agree with that. But right now they are closing the area, about the 4-mile area where this whole entire situation took place. The FBI is going in there and doing a thorough search. And so I just thought this was a good update that you guys would want to have. And it's just basically saying that they're closing the area down. I'll read it for you so everybody's in the know. This is 3 days. It's over the weekend. I believe that the day... it's going to be beginning today, Sunday morning. So let me read this. Federal authorities have requested a 3-day closure of several campgrounds, trailheads, hiking trails, and Forest Service roads in Leavenworth area as an intense search continues for murder suspect Travis Decker. The areas of Okanogan, Wenatchee National Forest will be closed for 3 days beginning Sunday, 6 a.m. Authorities say the closure will take place as the search continues for Decker, the Wenatchee man accused of murdering his 3 young daughters near Rock Island Campground. So even the search into Travis Decker has not stopped. These cases are important because we are highly, and when I say highly upset with Sumner County, we are highly upset with Sumner County. They searched for Sebastian for 7 days. They shut the search down, and we never heard from them again. They basically gave us a press conference that didn't even show the boy's photo behind him. You know how, like, when you do press conference, every press conference has the victim on a big picture standing behind him. This Sumner County really poo-pooed on Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. And if that case moves you, don't stop advocating. Still keep picking up the phone. Still keep calling the sheriff's office. Still keep calling the state attorney. Still keep calling your politicians. Let's keep trying to still keep applying this pressure, because Sebastian means a lot. I've got Sebastian's army tattooed on my shoulder. This case means an awful lot to Bullhorn Betty. Okay? We are all part of Sebastian's army here on this channel, and we have always been a Seth-friendly channel. When Seth was getting, people were just trying to destroy this man's life, and his life was destroyed the day that he found out his son was missing. So we want to remember that. Oh, I just realized I got this. Hold on a second. I realized that was all up there. There we go. So, all right. So you guys know that they're closed down for 3 days. They're Leavenworth, Washington Trails campgrounds where the Travis Decker search began, which, I'm sorry guys, but I did call it, right? I mean, raise your hand if you guys heard me say, I do believe they're going to find some evidence around where those girls were. They moved past that site entirely too quickly. There was that area at the Rock Island campground is so vast. There is no possible way they cleared that whole entire area. I'm sorry. And they have never found him. And the person that they thought, and I truly believe that this is what happened, that there was a sighting of somebody in one of the areas. And I truly believe that person that they sighted, the reason why they were trying to stay out of the viewpoint of the helicopters is because they were dropping supplies off for Decker just in case he was on the run, like a bonehead. That's what I truly think happened. I don't think nobody has ever seen a sighting, a movement, an iota. Now, mind you, they also collected a massive amount of, wrappers, straws, stuff like that. There were some little makeshift campgrounds that they also collected. None of that DNA came back as Travis Decker. So I don't think they've ever been on his true trail, because I don't believe one really exists. I think he's out there deceased. I think whatever he did, he did. Whether he hurt himself there at the campground and just walked until he dropped, I don't know. I would have assumed that they would have been able to follow, a blood drip or whatever if that was the case, but we don't know. We don't know. We do know that there was some type of blood smears on the truck that appear to be Travis Decker's blood. So where did the blood come from? Where did the blood come from? That's my question. And then we're going to move over to the Devil Den's killer. Guys, I've got to tell you this. Let me see if I can put I don't have his photo here. The Devil's Den killer, this is McGann. This is that, they were first calling him like James Andrew McGann, and then they realized his real name is Andrew James McGann. And he was the Devil's Den murderer. So if you hadn't heard that, this was in Arkansas, Devil's Den, Arkansas. It's a campground out there that people, and this was one of the busiest days of the year, people were out there, and this crazed lunatic jumps out of the forest, basically, and tries to, I would assume, grab the girls. And the father stood up, protected, and was, stabbed as a result of that. And it sounds like multiple times. And so the mother ran the children over to safety, and I think she went back to help her. It's an emotional situation. And she went back to help her husband, where the attacker turned his attention to her And so these two beautiful little girls lost both of their parents right there on that trail. But there were people out there. They were able to get a make and model on the car. There was some footage that was being leaked and put out about him. But check this out, dude. He might be very well a serial killer. Because from what I'm hearing and what these reports are saying that are coming out related to the Devil's Den, there are sheriffs in Vermont. There are sheriffs in other states that are now looking at Texas. I think Texas and Virginia, I think, are the ones that are, no, Vermont are the ones they're looking at. I can't exactly remember exactly which state they're searching, but it sounds like there's a lot of sheriff's departments that are calling Arkansas for details about this case because they also have strange violence on some of their trails with stabbing wounds that lost their life. So they're looking at these things. And some of these places this guy was at, is there more victims of Andrew James McGann? I'm paying very close attention. How crazy would it be if this case blows up and becomes like a Rex Heuermann, the Gilgo Beach serial killer? That would be insane. So if you guys are in your states and you have remember now, I would think in the last maybe 5 years, I wouldn't go too much because of his age. I think he's only 28 years old. And typically serial killers start coming out of the closet later in their 20s, and him being 28, this may have been very well his first, but it wouldn't have been his first attempt, in my opinion. Based on those, if we were to apply, he's a white guy. You know, we know most of our serial killers are they start their first killing late 20s. So is that who this McGann guy is? It's possible. So if you guys are in your states and do some digging, if you find something that's on a hiking trail that has a stabbing type of wound, whether they lost their life or they lived, but they never found the culprit, send me those articles. I'm very interested in them, and you should be too. Oh, Caleb Harris, Corpus Christi. Was he? But I don't think they did they determine he was stabbed? I don't think he was stabbed. And for him to be in the same system right around his location, and I'm pretty sure his roommate was cleared, but I'm sorry, I'd have to think it would be a roommate or somebody in that apartment complex that's really close to him, because he was just too close to his home where he was gone for a long time until they found his bones, and by that time it was too late. No, his body was decomposed so bad. That's what I thought. Yeah, I remember that because I didn't cover that case in depth, but because Tony Mathis is involved with Seth Rogers, he's the national spokesman for Seth Rogers, and he was also assisting in actually worked with Caleb's father. That that's when I kind of learned a little more about the case. So a very interesting case. Okay, let's just keep moving through these. I want to get to the updates on here. As many of you guys know, maybe you don't, Jaden Spicer is another solved case that was very hard for us, and this one was similar to Sebastian Rogers' case. The area, it's kind of, this is a trailer versus a nice, almost $1 million home that Sebastian was living in, and that's the problem, is the stigma that country folk have, that people have. If people have money, if people have a fierce bullhorn Jamie, that's funny. Big Mac Mike. But this is another one, and it's like, you see these cases where these parents use these excuses of the kids ran away or ran out of the home or whatever the case may be, but you see all these cases being solved. But in Sumner County, Tennessee is just getting a bad rap They do, like, if you are from Tennessee and you're not hearing your politicians, and I'm talking about Governor Bill Lee, Senator Marsha Blackburn. I heard Senator Marsha. I have high regard for your politicians there, but I have little tolerance for crap. Okay, and what people in Tennessee have been forced to eat and put up with is crap. You guys deserve to be safe. You guys deserve laws that are appropriate. We're just finding out that hurting a child in Tennessee was just moved from a misdemeanor to a felony just this year, effective July 1st. That to me is sick. It was a step in the right direction, but it's not enough. And then when I saw Marsha Blackburn and her statement about how wonderful Tennessee is, and she goes through the farmlands and how important it is to protect the farmlands. What about your blessed children, lady? What about the children in the state of Tennessee? Because that is the problem I have, okay? I agree we need to protect the farmlands. But what good is the farmlands when we have nobody to eat the farm food? Okay? And right now we got a lot of children in that state that most likely are deceased because of the hands of their parents, and their parents are able to sleep in their bed night after night, week after week, month after month, year after year. And I hear no politicians, when they're about to go up for a governor's race, bring up responsible and thoughtful laws to help protect the children and the vulnerable in the state of Tennessee. I'd like to see that. I would like to see that. I'd like to hear the politicians talking about those things, because those things affect everyone, much like the farms do, right? The farms, lack of food, that affects everybody. Well, so does crime, and so does murder, and so does the failures of the Department of Children and Family Services in the state of Tennessee. Just saying. Just saying. All right, let's get back to Jaden. Jaden's mother is accused of unaliving him. We do have an update on here. Many of you guys know, if you have been watching this case, you heard that he was most likely poisoned by his mother. Okay? And that is not true. They haven't released the autopsy yet. They haven't released the toxicology. You know, we don't have it. Oh, thank you, Gwen. Gwen gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. If you received your Bullhorn Betty membership, which it looked like it went to Kelly, don't forget to tell. Oops, I just moved it down. Gwen, thank you. And welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the insane asylum. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. But they upgraded. They upgraded her charge from, this manslaughter charge, for drugging her child. She is now charged with murder. So this is telling me that whatever she did was not an accident. It had to have been intentional. And then her husband ended up going to jail because he assisted her. Don't get your hands dirty when your family makes a mistake. Keep your butt out of it. You are no good sitting in I say this all the time on this show. You are no good sitting in this jail cell next to him. How is her husband supposed to help her now? The best thing you can do for a loved one that's going through this is tell them to shut their mouth and get them the best attorney that you can afford. That's the best thing you can do for them. Helping them cover up the crime? What is wrong with you? What in the world is wrong with you? They make a bad decision, fine. Why are you allowing them to pull you down in the crap, into the gutter? Remember, you have the right to remain silent just like everybody else does. But actually assisting, you deserve jail. So her husband is in jail right next to her, instead of being out and being able to help her. Stupid. And a poor boy is gone. This woman is pure evil too.
Welcome into WKYT News at 5. I'm Kelsey Soto, filling in for Bill Bryant. And I'm Amber Philpott. Felicia Gross, the mother charged with killing her son, 10-year-old Jaden Spicer, was back in court today. And while our crews were there to learn more about this tragic case, there was an update that no one expected to receive. Felicia's manslaughter charge was upgraded to murder, and we learned she was going to be indicted. Then just...
See? That means her story, that what she admitted to, was a lie. Does that surprise anybody? That a parent intentionally and willfully took their child out of this world. Does that surprise anybody? So why does it surprise people with Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers? Is it because his mother's military? We have to remember that woman was highly abused when she was a young child. She is so messed up in the brain, and she has a switch fuse for her behavior and attitude. She allowed her man, no different than what we've seen Rebecca do, allowed her man to treat her son like pure garbage and stood by and watched. And this one, you almost wish it was the step parent treating this child the way it is, but no. He was murdered by his mother. His mother. So why is it so hard for us to believe that Katie Proudfoot could do something like that? So hers has been upgraded. If you guys would like to check it out, we've been going over a lot of new stuff. All right, guys. Thank you for bearing with me. I don't know how much time has lapsed on the show, but I do appreciate us getting updated on those other cases. Now we've got the case of baby Emmanuel. And this is going to be hard. I may have to adjust the screen a little bit because of how we're doing this and what kind of, everything that we're going to be presenting today. We did learn a lot of new information last night on the show. We learned that the sister's home was also raided. We started hearing about clothes being thrown away, clothes and photos being thrown away. That was a shocker to many of us. Also, before we get moving on to our the next half of the show, we have 611 people in chat. I'm not sure how many of you guys have went out and thumbed up or liked this show, but if you could do me a solid and just take a few moments of your time and exit out of the chat and just go over there and give me a thumbs up, I would greatly appreciate it. And when you do that, if you'd like to come back into the chat, please consider coming back into the chat and writing something positive on this beautiful Sunday, this rainy Sunday here in Florida, for the people in chat. This beautiful girl, now there were several prayers that I saw out in front of baby Emmanuel's home, but you guys will have to understand why I decided to get the most beautiful of them all to present to you guys today. And and I think that this is important because I think people forget about the little people that are seeing these things go on in their community and how it affects them, right? And how are we supporting them? And this beautiful little soul right here decides to pray over the situation. And I thought, it's a beautiful Sunday. What better could we do than listen to a prayer over Emmanuel.
So, dear Heavenly Father, please find this precious child wherever he is. Wherever he is, please find him, dear Father, Lord. We are looking for him right now, so please, Lord, wherever he is, please keep him safe in your hands, and please make sure he's in a better place now, wherever he is. Whatever they did is really not right, but good thing they're somewhere where probably they should belong. But no hate towards anyone, but this isn't right. So in Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Amen. I know, you guys know I had to get the most beautiful. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Yeah, amen. What a beauty. What a beauty. And you know what? It takes a lot of courage at her age to stand up in front of a lot of people and speak. I don't know if you guys noticed it, But I don't see a whole lot of you guys doing a lot of public speaking, you know? And this beautiful little girl, she got up in front of there and just, she rocked it. She rocked it, folks. She rocked it. So this is Cinema Shogun. I clipped something. There was something he said on here, and I'm sorry I forgot what it was, but I'll remember it as soon as it starts, because I've already reviewed all this and put these things in order. So everything that I'm showing you today, I've already watched about 2 or 3 different times.
By the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department of the arrest. They say it happened this morning. The department says they don't believe Emmanuel is alive, but their search for his remains continues. San Bernardino sheriffs are also saying the kidnapping his parents reported in Yucaipa didn't happen. And we ran into the family attorney outside the family's home, but he didn't want to say much. Any comments on it?
I will say this, okay? I'm going to stop it right here just for a second so I can express myself a little bit more. I'm gonna get my big old head up here so you guys can look me eyeball to eyeball, okay? You guys know of all people out here in the world, I do not like bad people. I want to see them behind bars, and I mean that in every literal sense. Actually, if they've hurt a child, you guys know what I want, and it's much far worse than anything they could get in prison. So I'm a very barbaric woman. If you don't know, I'm Bullhorn Betty. But my point being is I also believe in the justice system. I also believe in our court system. Many of you guys don't know, but I've worked for attorneys in the past, not in a criminal defense aspect. Not in a criminal defense aspect, even though we had criminal defense attorneys in our office. But I will tell you, I believe in our justice system, and I believe everybody, if we believe in due process, and we believe in everybody is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Now, I'm not a court of law when I'm on here. Okay, this is the court of public opinion. It works much differently than the court of law. But I believe everybody is entitled to a good... I would love to see everybody get a Brian Kohberger defense. Okay? It limits our appeals. We know that they have competent representation. And we know that by that competent representation, deals come out of them. But we want strong deals. Like Brian Kohberger's never going to breathe air around a second person other than a prison guard ever again. You know? So I heard some people attacking this defense attorney, and I just want to say, you guys, when we get to the trial, we're going to be making fun of him anyways. We're probably going to come up with, like, calling them derogatory names throughout trial anyways. But at the end of the day, anybody deserves a proper defense. So this guy's only doing his job. He's a defense attorney because he's seen people get railroaded by the system. It does, and he did get his clients a sweetheart deal, or Jake a sweetheart deal with the 10-month-old child, or the 10-week-old child. There's no way in hell that attorney in any other state would have been able to pull that off. So just be kind to the defense attorneys, okay? I'm just saying that because if... did I just flip my camera? Oh, wow, I didn't know I could do that. Well, help me. I can mirror my thing just by okay. Interesting. I learn something new every day. Just remember that. Be kind to the defense attorneys. Hey, you never know when you might need to call them, okay? You don't want to piss them off. I'm just saying. That's wrong. We know some of you. I'm side-eyeing some of you. Now, I know you guys wouldn't be in the situation that these folks are in, but you never... Don't be pissing off the defense attorney. Don't be pissing off the defense attorney. I bet you the first one that pisses him off is going to be the first one that has to call him. I'm just saying.
I don't have any comments. I don't know what's going on.
The community is heartbroken, and still the question remains, where is Emmanuel?
Trying to figure out where the baby is and how we can find him or help.
We have some good news and some bad news in the Emmanuel Haro case. Obviously, the good news is that Emmanuel's parents are behind bars tonight. I think all of us are going to sleep better tonight knowing that they have been arrested. Now, the bad news is that Emmanuel is no longer with us. But not just that, They haven't found Emmanuel yet. I was hoping when I saw Rebecca and Jake getting snatched out of their house, I was hoping that law enforcement had already located.
I think we all did, because the baby is so tiny. I don't know if we actually thought that they had. I mean, I'm sure somebody did, because usually they don't, they can't arrest without probable cause. So usually it's showing that this massive amount of blood belongs to this baby, and there's no way this baby could survive whatever injury it got, or they have to find the body. Now, there are some things here that are highly disturbing. We're going to get into that. I mean, if you guys don't have, your beverage and a snack, now would be a great time while we're going through some of this preliminary stuff to get your stuff together, and because we're going to be here a while. We got a lot to go over. I went through the whole story. We need to start making a timeline, because this timeline is going to be beneficial for us into the future of this case. This case is, many people think this case is over. This case is far from over. This case, when they put those cuffs on these people, this case is just beginning. This is far from over. We have a lot to learn about this case, and we have a lot to learn about baby Emmanuel and what happened to him. And I'm hopeful that we can start clarifying some information here for our chat. Did the family know stuff? What did grandma know? What did sister know? We've got some answers for you this evening.
Emmanuel, but they haven't. They found a significant amount of blood, so much so that they had to remove floorboards from the home. They had to take floorboards out of the ground from the home because there was so much blood. But still, they don't know where Emmanuel is. They got evidence. They searched 3 different buildings just right there on the property.
So 3 buildings. We saw those 3 buildings. I think one's a detached garage, like one's maybe, they might be, I don't know. There's 3 different buildings on there. I know one's a detached garage. I don't know what the other, maybe just a storage or outbuilding, or accessory dwelling. And then they got the main house. Now, we got some information, because I know there has been some back and forth, because I'm not out there, folks, and you guys may learn something and say something in my chat that I have not confirmed, and I can't take it as a confirm. I can't tell my people that this is this. So we learned yesterday by somebody that that they're renting this house, and then somebody chimed in, no, the family owns the house. And I'm like, look, well, this person's down there. They're saying that it's rented, that this is the landlord and not the not a family member or whatever the case may be. And they're like, no, it's a family member. I think we do have the answer for you guys all today, and I know that probably by now somebody's already confirmed it or clarified it with you on another channel, but for those that haven't been clarified with or haven't gotten that tidbit of information, we will be going over it here in just a few moments.
I don't know, how much evidence they have. I don't know exactly what they collected, but we do know they took some floorboards out of the house, and the search for Emmanuel continues. I'm sure that they're going to interrogate Rebecca and Jake, try to get them to flip on each other. However, we do have an interesting lead coming in here.
Now he's going to go in. As reported yesterday, Ahmed had reported somebody had reached out to him. He's in the local community, boots on the ground. People love him. He's been doing great work. He's really been turning over every stone imaginable. His personal story is short of amazing. It's heartbreaking. He went from the thug life, drugs, everything that you can imagine, not being there for his child, not doing this. He's been very open. It's very painful for him to talk about. And, he's doing this for somebody else, because this is kind of, people, especially ones that get sober, ones that really work hard to change their life. It's kind of, if you will, a repentance, it's making amends. Sometimes you can't make amends to the people that you've hurt, and you have to make amends in other ways, other big ways. I subbed up to homie. I love it, Peggy. I love it. Yes, 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 homie. I love it. And so I feel like this is his journey, you know, and I always want to set, you guys know my story, my journey, my walk. And I always want to support anybody. Because like I said, you know what? Nobody understands what it's like to have to, you know, to be rock bottom and have to build your life up. You know, you were fortunate enough you didn't make decisions that some of us made. But I can tell you, I'd rather stand next to somebody that has turned their life around more than somebody that's just book smart, because I know that person's going to work 10,000 times harder than a person that's never walked through fire. I'm sorry. It's just something about them. I love their energy. I love, love his energy, love his heart. But there's just something about the work ethic. The work ethic is so much better in somebody that has struggled, that has had nothing, that's had to work for everything that they've got. And he's battling his cancer. Thank you, Cinderelli. So anyways, he's been turning over every rock. He's been getting the support. I'm sorry, San Bernardino has showed up. Not Sumner County. You could call them and say, hey, we think we found some evidence. You would hear, you know what you hear from them? You get down here and thank you, Pebbles. You get down here and you get over there in San Bernardino, California. They call, say, hey, you know, we think we might have something. Guess what? They're out there. They're looking. They're bringing patrol people out there to look. Yeah, that's what I call policing. When I see somebody calling me up and said, look, I waited here for 5 hours for Sumner County to come get this evidence. What'd you do with it? I still have it. What the AF, right? I can't even say the stuff I want to say. What? That was Sumner County, Tennessee. So thank God. And then when I say that they have the support, that means that they're taking this man seriously. Okay, they know that he's doing what he can, and they know that he's turning over. And he didn't even call them until he went out there and checked for himself, because he didn't want to waste their time. And I truly believe that this is a close proximity to the Big Five. We know that they were already at the Big Five casing the joint. You know, they were playing the tape through of what may have happened. They had plenty of time to do this. We've got some other bombshells that you guys have been you've already heard about or heard rumors about related to the timing of how long this child has most likely been missing. I don't believe that this child was ever seen by any third party in the month of August. And I said that, I think, by day 2. Or at least by the time, whatever day that we learned that she was sporting a black eye on August 3rd. Now, people are starting to give some disputes about the funeral, about how she was not there with black eyes. I don't believe it. Because my understanding is Ahmed saw a video, probably a store video or some other type of video, and clearly saw the black eye. That was my understanding. And I don't see him. So far he hasn't deceived us yet. I haven't found any place where Ahmed has intentionally lied to us.
Ahmed, or On the Tira, he's been covering this story very closely. Earlier today, there was a scare. Shortly after Emmanuel's parents were arrested, Ahmed passed out in the middle of the street. Luckily, he's okay, though, and he's already back on the case. And he has a source that tells him that one night...
Listen.
They saw Rebecca and Jake driving up and down this street just over and over again. A street that had a construction site on the street, like right there nearby the road.
Wow,
and he saw Jake and Rebecca just driving up and down the street, and then...
Mama Bear, if you've got that, send that to me by email.
At 12 o'clock at night... he saw Rebecca kind of like walking through the area with a black stroller. 12 o'clock at night, Rebecca...
I want to know where that black stroller is. But you know what? It could have looked black. It might have. Maybe he shouldn't use black. Maybe he should use the terminology dark colored stroller, because if they're driving by, then you know how nighttime is. Lighting issues are. If you have tent on your windows, I wouldn't say black. I will say dark colored, just to be a little more vague on the color, just in case somebody sees a dark colored stroller out there somewhere. You might want to call that in. Just a possibility.
Walking around with a black stroller near a random construction site in like this area where they have like storage containers and all types of stuff. There's a lot of fresh dirt out there already. So I don't know if this is where Emmanuel is.
And we have to remember we're hearing about power equipment too. So, are they going out there and checking like along the fence line, Because if they did what many people are believing they may have done, well, then they could have just sprinkled. It sounds awful. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to sound awful. But, I mean, they could have just technically sprinkled. I mean, look at Shawshank Redemption, right? How did they get out of the jail? They dug their way out, but they kept taking the dirt and taking it in their pants and dumping it outside on the ground, just kind of walking along the fence line and dropping it here, dropping it there, dropping it a little everywhere, Is that what we're doing? I don't know. So we also know that there has been some excitement going on since these despicable parents went to jail. There has been some things going on, and I think I have solved the case of the person that broke in and went and took that folder. I think I've solved the case on that. And then it brings me back to the fire too. So again, we still have a lot to go over in the baby Emmanuel case. A lot. And this is one of them. Many of you guys know how we kind of feel about this entire situation. I'm sorry I'm having to adjust this so much. I usually have it straight, but since I adjusted it once, I've got to adjust it out. Literally everyone now. And it's the hair, y'all. So we have been watching this lady, and you can see it in her mugshot. Let me take all this crap off the screen. Look at her in the mugshot. Look at her in the mugshot. Look how light her hair is now next to her chin. This woman is sitting here on the screen for days telling us to help her find her son. That some man came up behind her, punched her in the face, knocked her unconscious, stole her baby. She's supposed to, you remember, her attorney, his attorney, Mr. Slick. Where's Mr. Slick? I got his, where's mine? Mr. Slick. Mr. Slick there, right? So we've got Mr. Slick. He comes out and says, "Oh my gosh, well their phones and cars were taken. They can't thank you, Kimberly, for being a subscriber. If you guys are new to this channel, I'm Bullhorn Betty. We cover true crime. One of the ways I control my chat is forcing you guys to become a subscriber to this channel. It helps us control the chat because if you get out of line, we can block you. It's just an easy mechanism for us to control the chat when we have a lot of people coming here. So you're not going to be able to communicate in the chat without being a subscriber to my channel for about 20 minutes. If you'd like to you don't have to communicate in chat. Nothing's stopping you from being able to watch the show or anything like that. But if you would like to communicate with the people or express your opinion, you will need to subscribe. And of course, subscribing is always free. But Mr. Slick says they can't go anywhere. Remember that? They can't go out and search. How are they supposed to search when the cops have their car and had their car since Thursday? Do you guys remember that? Yeah, of course we remember that. Of course we remember that. Well, how did she have, well, and the other thing was they don't have money. Do you guys remember that? How they don't have money? But now, all of a sudden, not only do they have money to pay for this nice hair job and nails job and everything like that, but I don't recall people coming to her house and doing that. I didn't see anybody in all that footage that I've been reviewing outside of her house come to her house, but I did see them leave a couple times. So you're telling me that they couldn't leave to go search for their child, and they didn't have money to buy her an attorney, just him, right? Or money to go buy burner telephones, so they had phones to use, right? But they seem to be able to leave and have money when mom needs her nails and hair done, while the whole world is looking for her infant son that she said was abducted. I'm not sure if I was attacked by somebody, if the first thing I would want to do, I mean, even the child aside, no abduction needed. I don't know if I was jumped in the parking lot of any place and got my lights knocked out and became unconscious. I don't know if the first thing I'm thinking of when I wake up is maybe I should go get my hair and nails. You know what? I'll feel so much better if I just need a break. This is too intense. Let me go get my nails and hair done. Like, I don't see that. Like, now I'm kind of thinking, I would be fearful. Like, I would be thinking that somebody's following me, right? I would be thinking that somebody is behind me. I don't know if I would feel comfortable going out of the house after being attacked by a stranger and knocked unconscious. I mean, I think it would take me a little bit of therapy. That's the petty sarcasm. Exactly. Like, but I would feel like I need a little bit of therapy to figure out, so I can trust people again. I mean, because you don't know who hit you, right? So every person that passes you, wouldn't you essentially just kind of freeze up and be like, was that him? Could that have been the person? I mean, I just see the anxiety. I don't know if I could shake the anxiety to relax to get my hair and nails done. While you're... Oh, here's the BS button.
Warning, bullshit alert.
I got buttons, y'all. I love pushing buttons. And I don't mean that just the buttons here. I mean all types of buttons. I mean, I like pushing your buttons every now and again, too. Just saying, not playing. So... Okay, so the hair, and I'm gonna let this lady go on because I think, I'm sorry. I feel the frustration. I think everybody kind of feels the frustration. What?
The arrest or anything. I'm shocked about the hair. Did you guys see the video? Like, this woman's child is supposedly missing, and she has fresh highlights.
Amen.
And it's completely silky and fully washed, and she got her nails done. Like, I'm in disbelief. That actually shocks me more than literally anything about this whole entire case. Like, I get that she had highlights before this, but...
These are fresh. I mean, you can see it in the mugshot. Her hair was not that light, okay? If you don't believe me, go back to that poop brown shirt she was wearing while he was wearing that thick-ass hoodie, trying to cover up all his tattoos and stuff so we wouldn't judge him. Well, we judged him even without all the tattoos because her story was crap. She did not have this light of hair. It's just clean. Lady Saka says just clean. They're going to need more than a shower. They're going to need more than soap and water. There's nothing that's going to clean their soul. Nothing. There's nothing. This woman is... and we're going to get to the grandma next. The grandma, I think, is pretty interesting because people have been beating up grandma. Quit beating up grandma, okay? Folks, act like you guys got some stuff rolling around in that cranium. Quit beating up grandma, all right? We're going to get into that. Quit beating up grandma. Grandma didn't do nothing. Grandma didn't do nothing, folks, okay? Quit beating up on grandma. We're going to get into it. Okay, you guys know about the highlights. There's nothing really more to say. Okay, now comes the burglary. I don't know what is going on out here, folks. I'm trying not to laugh because this is not a laughing matter. It's serious. I take privacy rights very, very seriously. I'm a professional protester. I go all over the country. I cover these cases in a journalistic aspect, but I am grounded and saturated in law. Okay, I don't want to break a law. But I have. I was out at Alec Murdaugh's house, and I was done doing my segment. I was out there with my mic and talking about what was going on. We were there for one of the hearings. And so I pull up to this man pulls up behind me, and I thought maybe it might have been a subscriber or something that knew I was going to be out there that day and just came up, but it wasn't. It was just a random guy. And so he was an older, you could tell he's harmless, okay? He was pretty tall and pretty big, but he kind of walked with, he walked a little slow. He was harmless. He was harmless. So anyways, he's like, he goes, I wanted to get here before it got crazy because this was going to be the trial. I think it was the murder trial. I really do. I think it was right at the murder trial. And so he's outside and he's going, I'm going back there. And I said, aren't you worried about getting arrested? He's like, I know the sheriff. I'm like, oh, you know the sheriff. I said, so what do you think would happen to us if we were caught, going back here behind this gate? A ticket? Do I need to get some, bail money? Would he arrest us? And he's like, no. I said, okay, I'm following you. So it's one of those things where, but we didn't touch anything. We didn't go inside buildings. We previewed on the grass and stuff like that. And I did get my shots. I'm sorry. I'm a video journalist. If I get an opportunity to go get a freaking shot, I'm taking it. Okay? It might come with a pair of handcuffs, but I'm taking it. I'm just saying. So, but I do believe in property rights, and I do not believe when people have been around in crime scenes, okay? I'm sorry. They just had that cordon off. That's where possibly a baby lost their life. You don't go and encroach a crime scene. What the flip is wrong with people? And I find out that somebody's out there trying to give people, I'm trying not to laugh because this is no laughing matters, but tours of the House of Horrors. You can't make this shit up, folks. You can't make this shit up. They're giving tours. Now, I can understand this woman's, outrage, whether or not we care about her family or not. I can understand this outrage. I would absolutely understand it. And people need to know you cannot do that. Okay? You don't go on people's property. You damn sure don't go on people's... Like, you're talking about serious charges. You walk inside that house, you're talking about burglary. Folks, stop the madness. We don't become uncivilized. We don't become the same people that just got locked up. We don't break the law. But I can understand it. But you know what? I'm sorry. She kind of lost her shit. She kind of really lost her shit here. But I don't even know if this lady lives here or if she just saw it on TV. And if she just saw it on TV and she's this emotional in this, lady with the blue hair, if you're not part of this family or do not live in that house, I would have to think you are deranged. Okay? You've got no reason to be nosy in your business if you're not from there. Now, this might be a family member. It could very well be, and she has every right to be involved. But I couldn't make heads or tails who she is, Does somebody know? Does anybody know who this is? She said she lived down the street. Okay. Well, lady, you on their property too? Why you bullshitting? What, you think you special? I don't know. Boy, she mad. I think she might be the wife of the man that went in the house that took that notebook. We're going to see him because I've got it. I think he's the guy that tried to attack Ahmed. I think they're too involved here. And I looked at that guy and I'm like, you know what? We're going to get into some conspiracy theories here. We don't get into conspiracy theories on this show ever. We stick to theories and we speculate, but we don't really come with wild, things that we don't really have connect the dots. But there's just so much going on out here. It's hard not to wildly speculate how those things could be connected and what would make those things connected. Now, law enforcement is telling us the fire across the street has I call bullshit. That's just too close to their home, too close in proximity, right across the street with two people that had no wheels. I call bullshit. It had something to do with it. One thing I can tell you is a detective told me a long time ago, I don't believe in coincidences. And you shouldn't either. Okay? there are true coincidences. They really are, but they're few and far between, in my opinion. So I still believe that, and we're going to get into some of those details, and that's where we're going to kind of get away from, we're going to kind of get more out of the realm of theory and kind of more into the conspiracy aspect of it, because we got to walk you through it to make it make sense. And that's how I believe it. That's kind of where I go, what defines what I mean by the conspiracy theory versus just a theory. It's when you have to really walk through, and this has to happen in order for this to happen, in order for this to happen to make this happen. Okay, it's a conspiracy. So we're going to get into that. But let's listen to this woman lose her crap and act like a lunatic. Like, I mean, you could have talked to the officers, you could have talked to those people, but this woman is too emotionally involved. And when I start seeing people too emotionally involved, it makes me feel that they knew these people. I'm looking for a gang. I'm looking for a dealer. Because why? We had 2 ODs in the house. Or 1 OD in the house and 1 OD from her cousin. And I'm seeing fires going on across the street. And I'm seeing somebody going in their house while they're at court, taking a book that might have a lot of expensive cards in there, whatever the Sonic cards or whatever he collected. I don't know what it is. Somebody said it. I just can't remember. And that could have paid for a fire. So I'm looking at all of these different things and trying to make sense of it. And then I see this lady coming out here all crazy. And it makes me wonder, is she associated with the guy that came out there all crazy, going off on... what's his face? Because I'm telling you, I don't like if she was acting like this to me, we would have escalated that situation. And I know I should de-escalate situation, but I got somebody acting like that. I'm probably going to be laughing in their face, like, lady, you need to calm down. You're about to have a heart attack, woman. Let's listen.
That people are going inside the fucking house.
I didn't go inside.
Yes, I seen you.
I didn't go in the house.
You went into the property.
I didn't go in.
So what? The people got a shot. Okay, they did trespass. I'm not giving anybody an out on trespassing, but if you're a video journalist, it probably won't be the first time you do something like that. Probably won't be the last time you do something like that.
In the house,
but you were inside there.
We were right here because the guy kept trying to offer people tours.
The one that you guys can't find.
So the guy I'm sorry. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be unprofessional here. But hearing that some guy's out there trying to give people tours is just a next level of extra that I'm just not accustomed to on this show. Okay? I'm sorry. Am I the only one that finds humor in that? Am I a horrible person? I'm sorry. I feel like a deranged person up here. I really do. I'm sorry, guys. I feel it's not. I know that. I feel horrible for laughing about it, but she is so upset. It looks like she's about to lose a vein in her forehead or something. Like, the lady doesn't own the place. She seems way too emotional for this, and I can't imagine that this is just because. I probably would have said something. I don't know if I would have acted like this in front of an officer, but I would have probably said something. I know Blue Hair's upset. I wonder if it's if that's the twin to Chris Proudfoot's sister, right? Auntie Proudfoot, she likes the purple hair. I'm not gonna for all you people that like the colorful hair. I'm sorry. I'm just not down like that. It's too distractive for me. Okay. It really is. There's no offense. I mean, to each their own. I don't, I judge people all the time, though. I was going to say I don't judge people, but I judge people all the time. It's my only job to judge people.
Would you think that's okay?
Yeah.
Why would you think that's physically okay? Mentally okay?
Yeah, well,
this
you
is
need
the
to watch what you say, because I...
Well, mentally okay, lady. Like, you're screaming about somebody else's mental health when you're acting like a basket case. Like, normal people don't act like this. You don't need to act like this just because you're talking to law enforcement. This officer doesn't need to be screamed at or listen to this crap. He didn't sign up for this shit today. So, lady, calm down. I do agree. Stay off the property. Don't be selling tickets for tours. Like, what the this is just a little extra, okay? I'm sorry, it just is. I don't understand it.
I didn't go in their house, and you're telling people I went in their house.
Am I pointing at you? No.
You did.
Oh, but see that right there. See that right there would have gotten her like cussed out if she was crying now. Like I'm okay with people. Like you want to come to me, you have a problem with me. I'm chill. You start acting like a crazy lunatic, I'm going to tell you, look, boo, you're a crazy lunatic. Go calm your ass down. When you calm down, come talk to me. But until then, you weren't out here. You don't know she's accusing everybody. Do you guys see her? She doesn't know what the fuck's going on. Excuse my language. She doesn't know what is going on out there. She's just blaming everybody. She saw something online. Now everybody's accused of it. That's the kind of crap she's doing. Okay. So now we kind of understand that. Don't go on the property. Don't be taking tours of the property. It's clearly upsetting an insane woman that lives down the street. So, I mean, I don't know. Okay.
Did a minute ago.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, you
whoever
did.
I'm going like
yeah,
this.
But your whatever could make a big mistake for me. So you
yeah,
think about it.
That is true. She's right. You're saying whatever. You're pointing the finger at a whole lot of people saying that they're breaking in when the people that she may have saw may not even have been there by the time this officer got out there. And she's causing a lot of trouble for people when she doesn't know what the heck she's talking about. Like, where's your evidence? Produce some videos. You don't have to act like this, boo-boo. Just take some video, show that officer, whoever needs to go to jail goes to jail. That's what I do. You don't ever see me acting like a lunatic like this.
Down the street. I'm sorry.
You making this ruckus out here is a disgrace.
You guys are acting like this as a fucking circus.
That's what happens when a child goes missing. I hope this blue hair lady's watching Bullhorn Betty's show. You are so lucky that that's what you've got. You have no idea what I would have brought out there if I was sitting out in front of that house. I would have been exercising my constitutional rights out there on public roadway, and I can tell you the whole damn neighborhood would have heard me out there because I'm not a quiet broad. Okay? When I'm applying pressure to family members inside a home, I'm not a quiet broad. I'm a lawful broad. Okay? That means I'll dot my I's, cross my T's, follow the rules of the law to make sure law enforcement's safe, the people that are out there with me are safe. But this lady here doesn't understand how good she's got it. Do they need to look at Gabby Petito? It could have been just like that, and had it gone on for 5 weeks, I guarantee you it would have been bigger than Gabby Petito. So Stay in School said they already confessed. I have not heard that. I've been watching stuff all day from 3:30 this morning. Well, probably about 4:30 this morning. I slept in a little bit. And I was thinking about going live earlier, and then Smiley went live. So I was in her chat, trying to get some new information. And then I, had some things I had to do. So I had to leave. So long story short, I've been watching this all day. And I haven't seen any credible reports come out that anybody has said anything. As a matter of fact, it sounds like Mommy Dearest is still keeping her mouth shut. And that's disgusting to me. Like you've got cuffs around. You're literally sleeping in a freaking jail cell. The gig is up. Show some compassion for your own flippin' son. Cops ain't saying a word. Yeah. No, ma'am, another news station just did an interview with her and said she's still sticking to her story the baby was kidnapped. That's sick. I have no pity for her. None. No pity for her. I do not look at her as a victim anymore. I do not, burn, baby, burn. Burn, baby, burn. Whatever they did to this child, whatever sentence they get is going to be cakewalk compared to what they did to their own child. There's never going to be justice in this case. I mean, there really isn't. We're going to see paper justice. It's going to be all for symbolic purposes, but these people are probably going to get to sleep every night, get to breathe air, get to eat for the rest of their life while they have ruined every child they have ever come into contact with. And it's been a lot. It's been a lot. Sad stuff. Sad stuff. Blessed, happy nanas. Aw, Jamie needs a hat. Well, we'll do another drawing probably in another week. Probably in another week. I like this. I like people to see them. Once they get posted, we'll do another drawing. So once who won that? Unicorn Indiana won the hat. Unicorn Indiana won the hat this drawing. That's right. That's right. All right, so now that we have a basket case, schooling other people on how not to be a basket case, let's move on. I think, in all fairness, nobody should have been on that property. I'm not making light of this at all. No, you don't. If you're out there, and not even just this story, any story that you cover, would you want people all up in your crap? I mean, especially if you're in jail. I'm sorry, I wouldn't. And I can guarantee many of you guys wouldn't either. I mean, not only that, there's laws. Like, you don't need a burglary charge. Who the hell wants a burglary charge? Is that curiosity really that important for you? Like, I did it one time, but I had somebody there that knew the sheriff. Like, I was going to probably get a ticket or something. I mean, I knew the risk of doing what I was doing, but I didn't go into buildings. I wasn't selling tickets for tours. I mean, I think that's a little crazy. That's a little crazy.
A chilling turn tonight in the case of a missing 7-month-old baby in California. The parents of Emmanuel Haro, who initially claimed he was kidnapped, now under arrest for the infant's murder. Rebecca and Jake Haro were taken into custody 8 days after telling police that little Emmanuel was snatched from a parking lot. Investigators have now searched the family's home, removing floorboards and seizing phones, all while family members admit that they
we have some people now. I haven't verified this independently by myself, but it appears that we have enough people in chat saying that they've denied bail. So their bail has been denied, from what I'm hearing. Let me write this down: bail denied, because then when we get to a stopping point, we'll go pull up and get some bail bond denied. And that was as of today. Is that from today? 8/24, 2025. Yeah, they're done. Oh yeah, stay in school. They're done. Yes for both. Okay, thank you. Set it 0. Perfect. Okay, so when they were arrested, no bond. So they'll probably have a first appearance. It seems like they slow walked them through, but that may have had something to do with the fact that when they picked them up, they may have interrogated them. They may have, we knew that Jake's attorney was on scene. We all saw him. Again, don't be mean to the defense attorney. If you were in this boat, especially if you were innocent, you would be entitled to that wonderful defense as well. So be nice to the defense attorneys, guys. We all are entitled to them, and God bless them, because they have to go to defend these pieces of garbage, and they have to do it within their ability to do. That's got to be hard on him. Remember, this man, their attorney probably has children too. He is about to have to look at some of the worst stuff you probably have ever seen in your life, and he has to go home and hold his children. And I guarantee he probably holds his children tight. But he does it so he knows that at least these people get a good defense. Now that's commendable. A lot of people give defense attorneys bad names, and sometimes, we want to blame the defense attorneys, but in reality, it's not the defense attorneys, it's the failure of the prosecution, right? But you don't ever hear anybody, beat up the prosecution. It's always the defense attorney, but the prosecution is the one that's required to prove their case. Always remember that. Always remember that. So, all right, let me move this over just a little bit. Actually, let me just make it smaller. We'll cut it out a little bit more so we can see it a little bit clearer. Oh, wrong one. Dad burn it. Okay. There we go.
They haven't seen the baby in weeks now.
Did you guys hear that? She made sure she over-pronunciated her S. Weeks. We do not have anybody that has seen this child in weeks. Weeks, folks. Weeks. That's a problem. That's a major problem. And we've already went over some of the most disturbing stuff yesterday. If you guys did not have a chance, last night I did a live. You should see it. It has, I think, about 30,000 views on it right now. That one, we went over a lot of new information. And so we're going to touch on some of that. But if you want more clarity or clarification on all the breaking stuff that we went over yesterday, please go and check out that video from last night. It does have a lot of great information in it.
News Nation's Mills Hayes is here tonight with the new details on where the search for the baby stands now. Mills.
Hi, Natasha. The search for Emmanuel Haro continues. Authorities now believe the 7-month-old baby boy is dead, with his parents behind bars accused of his murder.
For over a week, baby Emmanuel Haro's parents, Rebecca and Jake.
I'm sorry. We're just going to slap him. We're going to slap him until we feel better. I'm sorry. I don't know what else to do, because this is what I want to do to them in real life, and we just can't. We don't believe in violence on this show. We don't believe in violence on this show. We don't believe in violence on this show because violence is why we're covering many of these cases. This poor, beautiful baby had a right to life. He had a right to live, to breathe, to grow up, to learn, to walk, to make mistakes, to fall down, to get up, to go to school, to graduate, get married, go to college, have children. These two people before you snuffed that away from a 7-month-old baby, just like Jake did to his 10-week-old daughter. And Mommy Dearest did nothing but stand idly by because she just loves him. Don't you know? She just in love. She just in love. She's so in love with him, she let her own child be the pawn. She let her own child be the pawn, and she watched the depravity of this man that she just loves. And she stood by him, and still standing by him to today. She is not a victim. She's not a victim, folks. Woman, whether he's a woman beater or not, she is not a victim. I have beautiful souls in my chat right now that have had almost the life beaten out of them. And the minute that abuse went to their children, they packed their crap and they left. That was their line in the sand. And trust me, they loved their abuser just like she loves him. But there's just some things mamas don't allow. And not only did she allow him to do this, we are hearing of the potentially depraved mechanism in which they did this. Don't tell me she wasn't there bringing bags, that she wasn't there helping clean up, that she wasn't right over his shoulder. Don't give me that. This is some sick stuff. Mama is not a victim. Mama is not a victim. Oh, no, no, no.
Pleaded for help from the public.
If you know anything, please come forward.
Look at this. Duped us. Duped us. And somebody made a great point. You guys notice her eyes, right? She put makeup on her other eye. She did not want somebody saying he's 150% gang. He very well might be. I don't know. You know, I could not see the tattoos. Strategic Eye pointed out the tattoos. Otherwise, I didn't even pay attention, to be honest with you. When he started pointing out the tattoos, that's when he started saying, wait a minute, you know, he was wearing the hoodie. And he says, you know, it sounds like he was trying to hide. He almost believes that those are some type of gang-affiliated tattoos, but I'm ignorant in that. Now, there's some tattoos, obviously, that we've seen on TV, news, noteworthy, like MS, MS-13 or whatever like that. We've seen those enough on news that I think any of us, even whether we know about the life or not, could identify that is a gang tattoo. So I do know some of them. Don't think I'm so ignorant that I'm just completely, out of touch. I just don't know specifically different, tattoos or gang affiliations or what gangs those tattoos really mean. And that's kind of where we are. She threw something in the bushes. We're getting to that to me, and I've got that pulled up too. I got that. I went through a lot of stuff today, and I tried to put it in order. As you can see, the flow. We're kind of putting all the important stuff, the new stuff up at the front of the show. Usually I leave that for the back end of the show, but we have so much information that we've missed because this case was moving so quickly. It was a fluid situation that now that they're arrested and things kind of slow down, we can actually go back and, start piecing this stuff together. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm very interested in this case and how we got here and, looking for baby Emmanuel. He's still missing, and that poor, beautiful soul deserves to be laid to rest. Jaden Spicer was laid to rest. Madeline Soto was laid to rest. These are all these kids that the parents said ran away or were abducted, and their cases have been solved. They've been laid to rest. Their perpetrators are going to prison for the rest of their life, if not DP. And we still, again, come back to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case where they gave him a 1-week search. They've never done any isolated searches again. They've never done anything for Sebastian after that. As soon as the appearance was gone, and as soon as all the resources were no longer in the case, Sumner County just closed up shop, threw the file in the filing cabinet, and is ready to move on like the suspects in that case, which is hashtag Chris Proudfoot, hashtag Katie Proudfoot. But if you don't believe that they are the suspects, please prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. My email is bullhornbetty@gmail.com, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. I guarantee you will never trump the information that I have. I guarantee it.
Whoever took my son, please return him. We just want him back. We won't do anything to you. We just give us our son.
Now, when we started this show, I want to remind you guys, when we started this show, we covered a case, Travis Decker, and I put up Whitney Decker. And it was very hard for many of us not to be having a tear. We had goosebumps, we had tears. It was very emotional. And I made sure I pointed out that is pure grief. You feel it. You felt it through the computer. I can guarantee it was more intense being there listening to her speech. But you can feel the grief. You can feel the emotion. You can feel her pain. Not all of it. But you can feel her pain. These people, you felt nothing. It didn't seem genuine. You didn't feel it. And when you have a grieving parent that knows nothing about their child, let alone a baby, that emotion is so intense, you can literally feel it. We're feeling nothing. We're feeling nothing with these folks. I think that's why everybody was cued in that this didn't sound right, because people trust their own instincts, and even if you don't know what it is, you know something isn't right, right? You can't figure it out. You just know something right here. Something just ain't making sense here. Usually what you say to yourself, like, something just doesn't feel right here. You might say it out loud, you might say it to your brain, but you just know something's not right. You can't explain it right then and there, but you know that something's not right, and you start cueing in. Well, that happened to millions of people across this country that were listening to the same thing. They were trusting that inner gut and that little voice in their ear saying, something's not right here. And I think that's what tuned us all in. And still, with this, something's not right here. He's not acting angry. He's not acting concerned. He's not even really pleading with the person that took their child. He's using past tense referring to his child. And one of the major things that you should always do whenever you have a child abducted is always use their name. You want them to say, you want to explain the child to them, because you need to humanize that baby very quickly to that abductor. So you're going to be wanting to say, our baby Emmanuel is precious. He is such a perfect baby. Emmanuel loves when he takes baths. Emmanuel loves to look up and play with his toys, his little, whatever the case may be. You want to humanize it. You don't want to be here and say, our baby's missing, can you help us find him? Your job is, especially when there is an abduction and you don't know who has your child, you need that person to feel for that child. You need to make sure that that person loves that child and will not hurt that child, because the statistics for this type of crime is so grave, right? You have 3 hours to get that child, or that child is most likely deceased. Those numbers suck in a stranger danger situation, but those are reality statistics. 3 hours. And I honestly don't believe it's even that long, but that's what they say the statistic is. Because everything that I've ever seen, except with that little girl from the New York State Park, everything I've ever seen, they steal the kid, they find a secret spot, they do whatever they're going to do, and that is it. And that usually happens in under 3 hours. So, as sick as something like this is, usually a child is picked up, but, for those types of purposes. But I don't see a whole lot of people snatching babies. There is a HT and ST world out there, But if you notice, where are they picking up the kids from? Roblox or whatever, Roblox, whatever that gaming system is. They're usually having these teens or adolescents walk out their front door and right into their car. They're not typically out here in parking lots beating up mothers and stealing children. Yes, and there's been a lot of people saying that they're not even Roblox. That's it. I believe this. So, yes, I do too, love. I do too, absolutely. Hey, Gail, it's nice to see you. Thank you for that. Yeah, but it's the Roblox. That's the one that's been picking up all the children. Like the last few teenage cases that we've skimped over, they were runaways, and they ran right from communications that they were having with their the very much older deviant that's just sitting right there waiting to take them. And then they take them and put them in houses, into rooms that they lock the doors, and then they have a whole bunch of people lining up. It's a twisted situation. It is serious. But, the babies, though, so far hasn't been the main issue here in the United States, as opposed to the underage adolescents.
Just keep them safe, don't hurt them.
But police believe it was those two parents who hurt the 7-month-olds. After police issued search warrants on their home, car, and electronic devices, Child Protective Services even took custody of their 2-year-old child. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department arresting the pair at their house in Cabazon with armed...
Isn't it funny how different they look in the comfort of their home? Like, they truly went out of their way to dress up to make them look like the grieving parents. She was wearing clothes that probably she doesn't normally wear, and clearly he was wearing clothes that he probably doesn't normally wear out there, putting on the whole display, the whole smoke and mirrors.
Armored vehicles ramming down their front gates. Sources tell News Nation blood was found inside the Haro home, where they found 0 photos of the baby and all of his clothes removed.
Now, that is a major find. We learned about this. I ran a story on this show about the dumpster. They found a dumpster, had law enforcement come out, but the dumpster had baby clothes in it. And many people said it may not be related, but I have to think with this coverage, with it being confirmed without a doubt, that they threw this child's photo. We have watched parents of missing children, abducted children, deceased children, and the one thing common to all the parents is if they left their room messy, that room was still messy 10 years later. They never changed a thing. Think about the mentality of these POS parents to wipe their child off the face of the earth and then throw away all of his belongings in the middle of a search for him that you called in as abducted. Who would do that? Unless you know for a fact that child is never coming back. I don't own photos anymore. Aww. Well, I can tell you that's a little different from everything that I personally know from the families I've worked with. Completely different. Completely different. I lost my sister 8-4. My niece will still keep her mother's apartment. Caused the grief. Yeah. Exactly. In all fairness, they may not have had any photos displayed of him. Those digital ages. Yeah, but you know, even me, I'm a digital person. I don't have a lot of photos, but you still see right behind here, there's a photo of me, Seth, and Tony. I mean, even in the digital world, and that was from a digital camera that somebody made for me. So even in the digital world, we still get cameras printed out and put places. And now even today, in today's environment, there's those electronic photo albums that are like a picture frame you put somewhere, and they just go through your entire wheel of photos. But there's no way you wouldn't have photos of the baby. I mean, think about the paperwork you get from the hospital. You know, there's just a lot of things. I can't imagine that nobody has photos. You, even with your digital life, you find those cute little photos, and you go to Walmart, print them, and find yourself a cute little frame and put it around your house. But they had a baby. When my daughter was that age, I had a ton of pictures at the time. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. But even with the photos, okay, if we can agree that maybe the photos weren't in the... They said she threw the photos away. Did you guys hear that? The photos were discarded. The photos were discarded of him, and his clothes were discarded. So I have to think that that the reporting that they're basically erasing this baby from their life, I think is the point that's being made with the language that they're using.
Emmanuel's mom, Rebecca, first reported him missing August 14th. She told police she pulled over in a retail parking lot to change his diaper when she was attacked, knocked out, and woke up to her baby gone.
I was gonna get the diaper and somebody said, "Hola." And I don't...
You know what? When she looks like a mom here. When she walked out of the house in handcuffs, she looked like a prissy little bee. Did she not? Much different than the illusion that they're giving out here with these interviews. In my opinion. He wasn't loved. He wasn't loved. No, he wasn't loved, period. That poor baby looks so precious and so cute. And just to see, this case upsets me. It's the baby cases, man. I don't get, fired up or get like angry. Like, don't mess with me angry. Like it takes a lot to get me to that point. And I feel like when it comes to this, just like Quentin Simon's case, it's just like, you don't want to play with me on this case. It's just, it makes me angry. Like I truly, there's something that's holding me grounded, but I would be in this lady's face cussing her out because that's all I could do. Because good God, if I ever put my hands on one of these parents that do this to a child, I will probably be in the jail cell right next to them. So I got to make sure I stay at arm's length away from them, because it's just like, how dare you? You see these photos of Emmanuel, and he, especially the ones from earlier in his life, he looked happy. He looked precious. And they snuffed all that out over what? The firing range is too kind for these people, in my opinion.
I didn't see nothing since. I woke up right here on the floor, and I didn't see Emmanuel.
Police noticed inconsistencies in Rebecca's story off the bat, but it was her husband, Jake Haro's criminal past that raised red flags. Haro was convicted of child cruelty in 2023 over serious injuries to a 10-week-old baby girl in 2018. Journalist Abby Escobar telling News Nation's Ashley Banfield that little girl, renamed Promise, is 7 years old and can no longer see, walk, or talk.
They practically killed that child, and here they are just living their lives like nothing even happened.
So we're gonna end that clip on that note, because that's the reality of it. Not only that, this man should have never been out. He should have never been out even to be able to procreate Emmanuel, let alone murder him. If the justice system worked properly and he was not given this sweetheart deal, which even the punishment of 6 years or 8 years, that to me was still too light. This man was a violent man that picked on a baby. A baby. I don't know how you put somebody like that in work release for 180 days. Thank you, Eye Candy. I just don't understand it. That just seems foul to me. If you want my truth, it seems foul to me. But it wasn't until we get over here to Pascal and I realize this whole thing with the clothes and the pictures is not as it seems either. According to the reports on Pascal's show, we're hearing that the mom actually called the sheriff to find out if they could throw his clothes away. You reported your child abducted, and now you're calling to see if you can throw your child's clothes away as if he's never going to come back again? Have you lost your ever-loving mind? This is the stupidity of some of these people. The absolute stupidity of I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Demonic. For those of y'all who are a little late to the party, because some people are late to the party, first and foremost, Emmanuel Haro is still out there. They do not know where that young boy is. They're still trying to find him. Jake and Rebecca Haro have been arrested on suspicion of of unaliving their own.
I don't do the I don't do the stuff, not on this app. I have to worry about it on TikTok. Over here, I really don't care. And I'm kind of taking the same stance as Brian Enton on TikTok, where I'm no longer going to be censoring my language on there. This is technical language for the United States of America. These people are accused of murdering their child. I am sick and tired of sugarcoating things when people need a dose of reality. So they are accused of murdering their child. If that is too harsh for YouTube to handle, then it's just too harsh for YouTube to handle. I don't care.
Boy. Now, we already know that forensic teams are inside that house. That, of course, they've been arrested. They're going through the entire house. They found a substantial amount of blood in the house, which is massive news. All right. And it does make you wonder, how much is substantial? Because substantial in my mind. Okay. It sounds like pools, if you get what I'm saying. Now that we're all up to date on that.
And it's upsetting because we don't believe the child was shot or stabbed. So how can a child produce that much blood if they weren't injured in those types of way that would produce that massive amount of blood? That's the troubling part that I'm having a hard time digesting.
We now have heard some more things that I didn't get a chance to talk to you guys about in the recent video I just did. And if you haven't seen that video, please go check it out because it's some crazy stuff that's being said and being discovered in that house as well. But here's the other piece that was been discovered. And this makes them look, this is terrible. They are dog water. They are less than dog water, okay? These guys are just nasty and disgusting individuals.
I'm sorry, it's hard for me to think of Pascal saying dog water. I'm sorry. Oh, good gracious.
Not only did they find red throughout the house, you get what I'm saying. They also realized that photos of baby Emmanuel had been removed.
So there's no question whether they had photos, folks. Okay? So they found out that they were removed. Okay? So it's not the digital age. You can't remove a digital photo unless you delete it. And if it's on the wall, then it sounds like they physically removed the photos from the wall.
And his own baby clothes, his clothes have been removed from the house.
His clothes. Again, we covered the dumpsters.
Before they even came in and raided the home, there was...
Before, folks. Well, we know that had to have happened before they raided the home, because when they raided the home, they were never allowed back to throw the clothes away, so that would make sense.
There's no photo of Emmanuel anywhere. Not one stitch of clothing anywhere that was originally his.
Not one stitch of clothing, y'all. What? Are you guys listening to this? Not one stitch of clothing for a child that they said, thank you, Pebbles, was abducted. How are they so convinced that their child is not coming home? This is all going to play out, y'all. In that courtroom, if you guys are not watching, we're going to run this trial from the Bullhorn Betty channel. I recommend, if you guys want to learn, because you guys know I know a lot about police procedures. It's not because somebody handed me their police book. It's because we've watched so many trials over our life, and they put the officers on the stand, and they have to go through step by step exactly what they did. And you hear that over and over and over again. You kind of start remembering their processes. Once you've been through, 100 trials and you've heard, thousands of different officers, from officers, FBI, U.S., Secret Service, U.S. Marshals. There's a lot of people that have to go up there and speak, but mostly it's the liaisons, because they have this creative way of trying to keep a lot of the FBI, Secret Service, Homeland Security type people out of the courtrooms, because they don't want their stuff. So how they're able to get that is they all work independently of each other. And that's why you hear of a lead or a tip being called in from those other agencies, as opposed to them doing the work themselves. They let the investigators work the lead. It helps keep them protected and not have to go in there. But you still get a lot from the FBI, the state police, as well as the local law enforcement as well. Thank you, Sonia. Sonia gifted a 5 Bullhorn Betty memberships. If you received your gifted Bullhorn Betty membership, please don't forget to tell our beautiful Sonia thank you. And for the 5 beautiful people, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Grab your straitjacket and your padded room and welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Betty, there are new articles out now from today. The mom interviewed. Okay, perfect. If you've got them, go ahead and send them to me. I've got this stuff. We'll go over those in just a second. There's a couple things that I wanted to get to. Where are we? Let me see what's next. Okay, right after I'm done with grabbing some of Pascal's statements here, we've got one more thing that I want to touch on, and then I'll go and pull this away and go check the internet and pull up some new news that's broke since we started our live, and just get up to date on that stuff as well. But there's two other things I absolutely want to show you before I take a break and move to the new information. Oops, I was on the right page.
All of it gone. Now, a couple things. This could very well be the fact that this could very well back up the claims that police found. That is true, that they did find clothing, baby clothing, in a dumpster, and people are wondering if that's connected to Emmanuel. That could very well be it. It could very well be Emmanuel's. There's also some other information out here that I'm just going to tell you guys. It's rumor. Don't know if it's confirmed or not, but allegedly, whilst they were sitting there going, we're grieving and we're trying to find our son, right? Locked up in their own home before they were actually locked up. They were saying this stuff, right? We're grieving for our son. Why would you grieve for your son if you think that your son is still out there alive?
Amen.
But I digress, right? Not only were they doing that, they apparently called 5-0, called police, and said, hey, we have some clothes and we just want to be able to dump them, and dump them. Is it okay if we dump his clothes? And the police are like, yeah, go ahead and dump it, baby. Because that's evidence. That's free evidence, baby. Go ahead, dump that stuff. Do that ish. Go throw it in that dumpster. Go throw it away. Do you realize how dumb that is, right? You're so dumb. How dumb is he, Pascal? That you would call police and go, oh, yeah, we're going to go dump the clothes. Is that okay? Is that okay? Well, that's...
If true, holy smokes, if true, the stupidity never ceases to amaze me, But I found this clip, okay? And this clip was on Facebook. Now, they obviously got a memoir or memorial for their son. The box, it looks like something's in the box that somebody made for them. I'm going to back up here because I turned the volume off of this one. Make sure it's off. Is it off? Yes, off. Because I don't want you to hear anything. What I want you to do is we're going to play it 3 different times, okay? This first go round of this video, I want you to only focus on the face of Rebecca. The next go round, I want you to only focus on the face of Jake. And the last go round, I want you to look at the face of Grandma. It's going to take us right about, 90 seconds, about 2 minutes. 2 minutes, give or take, to run through these 3 times. But right now, I just want you to look at Rebecca's face when it's played. Okay. Now, I want you to do nothing but look at Jake's face while he's looking at this. Okay, and then the last go round, I only want you to look at Grandma's face. They only show Grandma's face, one little segment here. And then we're going to discuss. Look at Grandma behind the shoulder. I don't know what they're looking at there. But you see this whole video, you know who the culprit is. You know who the culprit is. You can see the sadness. It doesn't matter what this woman has done to protect this man. You can see it in her face that this outcome is not what she wanted. The outcome's not what she wanted. He still is so cold. Now, I'm gonna take this down real quick because I've got to go over to my emails. I've got to check and see what we've got in emails real quick. Okay, we got some funeral videos here. Okay, Rebecca's interview. Okay. Let's go ahead and pull this up. There's some new information coming out. Okay. All right, guys. I'll put this on the screen now. Let me go ahead and get this. We might have to adjust it a little bit. Give me just a second. Okay, I think that's going to be where the article is. All right, I'm going to read it. So the title says, "I'm not giving up on my baby," says Cabazon mother jailed on suspicion of murder. A subdued Rebecca Haro sat hunched over in a 7th floor inmate visiting area of the Robert Presley Detention Center in Riverside on Sunday morning and said she wished she were out searching for her 7-month-old son, Emmanuel. Well, when she was out, she chose not to search for him. So let's make sure we clarify that. She was out for a solid week and never got off her ass to go look for her son. Just so we're clear. Hashtag Katie Lynn Proudfoot. "I will not give up. I will not give up on my baby," Haro says August 24th in a Jailhouse interview with Southern California News Group reporter, during which she maintained that Emmanuel was kidnapped. Law enforcement authorities believe the baby is dead and on Friday arrested Haro and her husband Jake Haro at their home in Cabazon on suspicion of murder. Haro, 41, sat separated from the reporter by a glass window and communicated through a telephone hooked up on Sunday. She wore a blue jail jumpsuit, her hair up in a bun as she was led away in cuffs. Friday was now down to her shoulders. Then once prominent bruise around her right eye has faded but still noticeable. Haro and her husband, Jake, 32, were arrested 8 days after the baby's mother reported Emmanuel had been stolen from her after a kidnapper knocked her out while she was changing the baby's diaper outside of the Big Five in Yucaipa. Though the San Bernardino, California department says her story was a lie, she stuck by it on Sunday. Haro shook her head side to side when asked about the widely circulated rumor that days before she reported the kidnapping, she went to the Big Five and told employees that her car had been burglarized and asked whether the business had surveillance camera. The sheriff's department did not respond to the questions about the claim. I want to be out looking for my baby," Haro said, appearing to cry. Yet when she was out, she never looked for her baby. And we have learned that she threw all of her son's photos as well as his clothes away. But now she's ready to go look for him. The crying and the commitment to finding Emmanuel in her account of the boy's disappearance, however, have all been called into question by investigators and the public. Over and over, people have noted Haro's composed, tearless cries during media interview. The Uvalde Foundation for Kids, which offered to help Haro's hunt for Emmanuel on foot, withdrew support when the parents stopped searching and failed to respond to subsequent reach-outs. And the San Bernardino, California Sheriff's investigators said unspecified inconsistencies in Haro's statement raised their suspicion. Investigators searched the Haro home and seized electronics belonging to Jake. Haro said Sunday that she married Jake in 2021. However, his previous child cruelty case, aware of his previous child cruelty case, and that their relationship had been wonderful. What a big piece of. He treats her well, she said, and the same goes for her 16-year-old child, a stepchild. Did she have another child in that house? He treats her well, she said, and the same goes for her 16-year-old child, a stepchild to Jake, and the couple's 2-year-old. We didn't know about the 16-year-old child, guys. We didn't know about the 16-year-old child. We didn't know about the 16-year-old child, guys. I know she had 2 daughters, but I thought the 2 girls were over the age of 18 because she had nothing to do with them. They didn't even know she was married or had other children, according to that father of those 2 adult children. So now we have a 16-year-old. The reason why I keep repeating this is because we just had a child abuse case come in, and we're assuming that it's the 2-year-old. But it's because we didn't even know about this child. Now we have a 16-year-old. Could that abuse charge, we assume that there was only 2 other children, right? We assume there was Eli, which is her stepchild, and Jake's son. And then their 2-year-old. Now it can be either Eli, the 16-year-old, or the 2-year-old. Now, I didn't think it was Eli because I believe his call would have actually came in through Yucaipa, because I believe that's the connection to Yucaipa is because of his son, and I believe they may live there. I haven't looked into it. I don't know. I'm assuming. So don't take that, do your own research on that. But that's where I think the connection to Yucaipa came from, was Eli. But now she's in this article talking about her 16-year-old child, which is the stepchild to Jake. This is a new child. We never knew about this child, folks. We have a new child. So that call that we assumed was the 2-year-old may not have been the 2-year-old. I still don't know one way or another. Wow. That's interesting. That's something new we didn't know. That is new information, folks. Now the question is, was this 16-year-old child in that home, or where is this 16-year-old child? Because we only heard the 2-year-old being removed. Who has the custody of the 16-year-old? Good gracious. And she says that the same goes for her 16, that he treats her well and her 16-year-old child. So was the child living in the home? This is the first I'm hearing about this. He's a good dad, Rebecca said. He would never hurt the baby. Girl, oh, puke.
The lie detector test determined you are a liar.
He would never hurt a baby.
You're a liar! That was bullshit.
He would never hurt a baby. Do you guys hear that? He would never hurt a baby. He would never hurt a baby. I'm almost ready to put who in my chat believes this man would never hurt a baby? Do we need to bring Promise back up here? Do we need to bring Promise back up here? He would never hurt a baby. That's what she said. She's not in denial. She's an accomplice. She's not in denial. We are not. No, that's too nice, Pebbles. You're usually more brutal than me. No. No, she's not in denial. She's an accomplice. She's an accomplice. This is that Jake 6? No, Nero. This is what it says. This is exactly what it says. It's right here. He treats her well, she said, and the same goes for her 16-year-old child, a stepchild to Jake. A stepchild to Jake. Yes, absolutely, Care Bear. Absolutely. I wasn't, trust me, I was in tears on my other channel. My smaller channel, I was in tears because I was on the, you guys, you can go back and watch it. My heart bled for this lady. I felt like this guy was going to set her up and railroad her. I predicted that he most likely had her participate in the burial and other things. You know what I'm saying? So I was really having a hard time with this. And I came to my audience and just kind of vocalized where I was, what I was going through, how I'm struggling in not making her a victim, and asked my audience, I know my audience has been abused. I know there's a lot of people in my audience that have been abused, men and women. And so I put it out to the audience to tell me if I'm being too soft, am I wrong on this? And it was overwhelming from people that have been in this very situation telling me I am absolutely wrong. She is an accomplice. You don't stand by your man. A child is dead. We're talking about, no offense, if you guys can't handle true crime, you probably shouldn't be here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, but we're starting to allege that it's possibility of dismemberment. You are not a human being if you can do that to a child, let alone your child. You are not human. You are not human. I don't know what you are, but you are not a human. You're a praying mantis in a human body. So it's hard. This case is hard because we're looking at this beautiful baby. We're seeing him totally gone before he's gone. Our hearts are bleeding when we see earlier photos of a lively, beautiful, happy baby. And we know that whatever this child went through was horrific. And it's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine. And then we keep finding out there's more and more children, and more children, and more children. It's like, how many children's lives have these two people ruined? And she's up here saying that he's a good dad and he would never hurt a baby. That's exactly why I said stay in school. She said she retained an attorney but declined to provide the person's name. So, Haro's probably, she's so stupid. This man's going to railroad her, and she just loves her man. She just loves her man, don't you know? Stand by your man. Cut it out. Cut it out. She said she retained an attorney. The Haros have not been charged. They have now. So they say the Haros have not been charged. A tentative court date for August 6th has been set. So they're saying they have not been charged. A tentative court date set for August 6th for Jake Haro, initially booked into the river, incarcerated. So have they been charged with murder or just been charged with suspicion of murder? What is the one? Is that 187? Let's look at their, hold on, let me take this off so you guys aren't watching my stuff. This is in California. Okay. California Penal Code Section 187 defines murder as the unlawful killing of a person or fetus. A conviction under this code requires proof of a lawful killing, like lawful self-defense. Depending on the specific circumstances, a murder charge can be elevated to first-degree murder, which carries more severe penalties, including life imprisonment or the death penalty, or it can be second-degree murder with a penalty of 15 years to life. What is murder under PC 187? So, California Penal Code 187A, the prosecution must prove the defendants failed to perform required duty, the defendant caused the death of a person or fetus, the defendant had malice aforethought, meaning they acted with intent to kill or with conscious disregard to human life. The defendant had no lawful excuse for their actions. The types of murder covered under this are typically first degree and second degree murder. Fines can be up to $10,000. So that's really it. It says prosecution charged people with voluntary manslaughter under 187 PC. So we know that they have been charged. I saw the paperwork myself that they are physically charged. Yeah, look at malice murder. Well, they charged them with PC 187, which is the malice murder. So I took their penal code and stuck it in so I could read the actual code. The number that's put on the form is PC 187. So that's why I looked at that. Okay, so let me go here and see what other information we had. So we got that. Let me keep looking here. Okay, so we have the interview with her. Is there any more in this interview? Let me read. I think that was it. I think that was it. We know she's been charged. Both are being held without possibility of bail. As of Sunday morning, Emmanuel was still missing, said Mara Rodriguez, spokesperson for the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department. All right, so there's that. Let me just go back through, make sure my emails are not up here. Good, they're not. It looks like we have a funeral video here. Let me see what this is. Who's this for? Oh, I gotta log in. Yeah, that should be good. Give me a second, guys. Let me get this pulled up. It's not pulling up for some reason. Okay. All right. The funeral where they're saying that she didn't have the black eye. Apparently somebody sent me the receipts that she was actually sporting around a black eye. Okay. So we'll put this over here. You guys don't need to see the comments. Let's just watch this together. Hold on. Let me refresh this because it showed the black eye at the very, very, very beginning. Right there. Right there. She's wearing the black eye right here. Very minor because it hadn't set in yet. It must have just been... And she's one of the only people... There's the guy that was hugging her. So that must be her father maybe or stepfather.
Oh, we had so much fun together.
Yeah.
I know.
Where's your babies?
Over there, he's like, I want water. I'm like, okay.
I haven't seen your little boy since November when he was born.
Yeah, he's fucking 3. He's gonna be 4. Look at mommy got. No, it was hanging over the chair. Lele will eat a quesadilla. Oh, RJ, say hi.
I'm your Auntie Becky.
Say hi.
So she calls herself Becky, Auntie Becky. So we're calling her Rebecca, but it sounds like everybody calls her Becky. I'm Aunt Becky.
You don't have it, brother? We'll find it.
Let's see if we can get a good shot of her. Is that her? So there are some good shots of her. Let me see something here. Hold on a second. Let me get this. I'm gonna download that. Maybe I can slow it down without all the stuff all over it. Hold on a second. I got to get to my program. Get that downloaded. Of course. Okay, well, I can log in. Give me a second. Sorry, I gotta log in for them to pull the video. All right, I'll have to come back to that. Okay, so
He said, no, I'm not.
I don't know. We're gonna have to get this and scroll in, but he has. I have to think that he's analyzed this thing pretty stinking well. It looks like, especially from you could tell she had a lot of makeup on, and if we were to say that she started sporting it around by the 8th, by the 5th, she would have, still, it wouldn't have been a full, like double black eyes at this point. I think it would just be some markings. You can see her black eye. Exactly. And people were trying to say that she didn't have any black eyes when she was at this funeral. We're seeing them because I got a report that we were going to be going over a little bit later that clearly somebody is saying that she didn't have black eye. And I can see a black eye. I can see a black eye. Let's keep going here. Let's see what else we've got in here. Okay, no one has mentioned this. I noticed from the beginning, Emmanuel's ears look like they had been boxed. Just noticed it's enlarged. Also, why can't they take GPS off the truck? They took the car in. If they've got a newer car, they've got, I mean, the vehicles today have the infotainment centers, or, infotainment centers in them, and those things, they have a lot. If you're like, pre 2010, a vehicle, you still have a lot of computer stuff there that they can use. It's just not as detailed information. But all of our vehicles, any newer vehicle this day and age, they're going to be able to track your movements. They're going to be able to know when you put that car in park. They're going to be able to know when your phone hooks into the infotainment center. The systems that are in our cars right now, they control everything. Your power, they can tell what your speed is when you put your blinker on. I mean, it's so detailed. If you're in a newer vehicle and you commit a crime, you're stupid. Okay, I don't know how to tell you. You're stupid because they're going to track you. They're going to get you. And now all of our stuff has those, internets in them. And those pick up on different things, even just driving, even whether it's hooked up or not. So there's a lot of stuff we don't know about that happens, not just the cameras that we don't see and other stuff, but just the tracking that we do. So I think that's, crap, I didn't mean to do that. I accidentally hit my refresh button. Why it's doing this, I don't know, and it's taking forever to get me back up. I think that's it. Rebecca speaks from jail. We've got that. So I think we're kind of caught back up with our little bit. So I want to get back to this one because this right here means a lot to me, because I really believe he is the violent one. he wasn't as moved as the mom was with whatever they're holding, which I have to think is a picture of him or something really sweet. You could see the mom's heart was broken. But what I found so crazy about that, whole thing is, did you look how nervous she looked at what his behavior would be? Classic. And it's right here. Let me move it. Look at her eyes. She keeps her eyes on him. She is so fearful how something might make him react. And you can see it in her face. Every time, like even when she was looking at it, she didn't know how if this thing was going to set, you could tell. She didn't know if this was going to set him off. You could just tell. All right, hold on, Robin. All right, here we go. Okay. So she would have just started getting her black eye at this point, in my opinion. Oh, man, I don't like the way that turns out. Hold on. Let me send it to myself. Okay, now if it shows my name behind it, I don't really feel bad. There you go. So you kind of see and you can see the marks over here. It wouldn't be set in, because what I found out through this particular situation is when you're hit, your face is red for a day or two. Then you start seeing once the pain and everything is over, that's when the bruising starts lifting to the surface of your skin, and you start getting the bruising effect. Usually by the time the bruising effect starts setting in, the pain is pretty much gone. You're just left with the other stuff. Yeah, and the eyelid, but you can see it really good over here. This is the one that healed this is the eye that healed the soonest. So it's this one right here, but you can definitely see it up here and right here. So she did well at hiding it, but it had to have gotten worse after this point. It just kept getting darker and darker and darker and darker. And then after so many days of darker and darker, it started healing. So they believe that she was sporting these black eyes back on August 5th. So we don't know. I just looked at, charts and stuff like that on how these things are, how these things heal. Oh, thank you. It's a box of missing flyers. Then why were they so moved by them? I mean, she looked, that one face, you could just tell it broke her heart. She knew. You can't convince me otherwise. Like, she knew. So this is Hidden True Crime Podcast. I've just learned about her doing this as well. I didn't know her prior to this, but I've learned a little bit about her. Oh, I need to bring this. I hate having to adjust the screen so much. I don't think I'm going to do that much anymore. We're just going to set it and forget it. But she makes some valid points here, and I'm just taking this section of it. She's got a lot of great information kind of packed into this one, I don't know how many minute, 16-minute video. I recommend you go. Oh, thank you, Gwen. I appreciate that. Gifted, nice super chat. Thank you. It's great. I appreciate it. God bless you. But I really like her, and I like how she talks. I like how deep she gets, and I think what I like about her the most is she doesn't just stick with mainstream media content. Like, she's doing investigative work. She's looking at social media. She understands what people are saying about these cases. She's looking at the information. She's validating the information. And she's just really, I really like her style. I really do. I'm glad I found her.
Suggests that Rebecca and Jake may have had plenty of time to conceal what happened and dispose of crucial evidence.
Lauren, sources tell News Nation not only that there was a lot of blood inside the home, but that all the photos of Emmanuel had been removed from the house. All the baby's clothing had been thrown away. How long do we think this baby might have been dead?
I think that we are suspecting actually quite a long time, according to, you know, the true crime podcasting community. They have been speculating when the last time Emmanuel was seen. We're hearing various dates, some even saying as early as August 3rd, but there's no sighting that we have known of the day of this. Now we don't even have to say alleged kidnapping. Well, I guess alleged kidnapping still, but you know,
alleged murder in this case.
Alleged murder now.
Okay, which one? Which one? He's got several platforms. Facebook, he doesn't put everything on the same platform, you know. He doesn't put the same video out. Did you send it to me? TikTok. Okay, TikTok. Okay, let me go to TikTok. Okay. Well, he's live right now. I don't know where.
And from the PETA and the search dogs, Oliver did his job, and Jake, as you seen, we all seen it together. And so to give you fine folks at home a recap, Ahmed Belloso, where we have finally located little Emmanuel, rest in peace.
Oh, he's been found, folks. Breaking news.
They're now going to the back.
Breaking news, folks. Breaking news, folks. We have breaking news, y'all. It looks like he has been found. We're getting breaking news in right now that Emmanuel Haro has been found. This is happening live from the scene right now. Live from the scene of where this is going. It sounds like he might be having some technical issues. He's probably out in the middle of nowhere. You guys have been following me for a long time. We are getting news in right now. Emmanuel has been found. Give me just a second. I got to take this off. I've got to be able to change my title real quick for breaking news. Emmanuel has been found, folks. So this is a little crazy. But we are finding out right now that Emmanuel, it looks like they've got something going out there. I don't know where this is. I don't know what location they're in. We just lost Ahmed. Ahmed's out there, but before he ended up breaking up and losing his life, we learned that it looks like baby Emmanuel has been recovered. Breaking news. Hold on, I got to put this up here. Breaking news. Baby Emmanuel recovered. Delilah, it's raining outside, okay? Come here. She's seeing me getting excited, and she's starting to whimper, and she's starting to. All right, honey, I gotta fix some things, okay? You can sit in my lap, but shush. Okay, we got breaking news. Breaking news, guys. If you guys are not here, we're learning right now from Ahmed that they have found baby Emmanuel. I don't know if he's going to come live. He was struggling to keep the internet going, trying to get hooked up right now, but we are learning that it doesn't look like he's going live again, but he did give us an update. He said Jake confessed. Okay, so we're getting some information in from Grave Crime with Grace, which is also another person on TikTok. She says Jake finally confessed. Jake, we're getting reports right now that Jake has confessed. Jake has confessed per Ahmed. Ahmed has just reported to us that they are. Betty, we can't replay lives. The only way we can get lives off TikTok is if they're sent to us or they're uploaded as a video. There's no, I've never been able to find a rebroadcast of a live. We can't replay as live unless he's on a different platform. TikTok's a little different. They found the baby. They did find the baby, guys. We got breaking news right now. I need to go ahead and get my thumbnail changed, so give me just a second. Just a second. I've got to make some changes here. I've got to get a new because this is breaking news. And guys, we've been praying for this for for days, over a week now, that this boy is found. It's just sad that we are here. It's just sad that we are here. I don't even know what to say. I don't know what to say. Come on, Delilah, you're starting to bother me here. Thank you. Okay, so now we got the recovery stamp. I gotta add. So sad. This baby deserves so much more than he got. So much more than he got. I'm just angry. I'm hurt. I think I'm just like every other person out here that's covering this case. We're angry. We're hurt. We don't understand, why. Just the normal questions. Why? Why are we here? Why did this happen? It's just, God, just frustrated. Just frustrated. Taking my missing off and putting recovered. It's just. Recovered. Poor baby. Poor baby. Poor baby. If you guys are just coming in, we're just learning from Ahmed that they did, it sounds like Jake has confessed to the crime. It sounds like they have now gone out to where the baby is. They are now starting to, recover the baby. This is a great day. I mean, it's a sad day. Don't get me wrong. It's an awful day. It's an awful day. It's an awful day. But it's a good day because finally we have something. We have something that, and this is what angers me. Like we're celebrating the fact that this child has been found, and that is a great thing. It looks like a desert. Yeah, it's somewhere. It's somewhere. I'm going to try to get that back. Just give me just a second while I finish up what I'm doing here to change my cover letter, I can't even speak. I'm angry we're here to begin with. That's all. But we are finding out for people that are coming in the chat, Jake confessed, and they're in the process of recovering little baby Emmanuel. I just want to give a big shout out to Ahmed, okay? Ahmed has been out there. I just heard about his story last night. His whole story, the story that he put out there for everybody to kind of understand who he is and where he's kind of coming from. And it broke my heart. I felt for him, and I know how important, let me rephrase that. I now know how important this case is to him. And the reason why this case is important to him. And God bless him. God bless him because he's been there. He's been fighting for this baby. There it is. Okay, I just updated the thumbnail. Now we can get back to it. I'm going to look and see if I can find Ahmed again. For those that are just tuning in, we found out that Jake has confessed and they are in the process of recovering baby Emmanuel. We're trying to get a good, if somebody has a good live link, if somebody can find somebody out there, let me know. Somebody got their little nose stuck in it. Let me see. He might not go back live if it's a fluid situation. Y'all, I'm not seeing him live. So I got no live link right now. Okay, here, he's got one pinned. Oh, that's for the fires. That's for the fires. So I don't have anything for him right now about this case. You're the first to break this. Thank you. Thank you, Ashton. I wasn't the first to break it. This might be first to break it on YouTube. It might be first to break it on YouTube, but we did not. It was Ahmed. It was Ahmed Bellozo. He's the one that broke it. He's the one that's been working this case out there. He is an amazing person. I didn't realize how important this case was to him, but I do know now. And it's very important to him. God bless him for everything he did. We are now in a situation, and I truly believe it is because of him not letting his foot off the backs of these people, law enforcement. He kept pushing this needle forward. He was the one doing the shoe leather work, not taking away from law enforcement. Law enforcement did an amazing job, folks. Please don't misunderstand. So we're learning once police confronted Jake with the evidence, he confessed. You guys put all the stuff that you guys can in the chat right now because we are learning. Baby Emmanuel. Okay, we got check email. Guys, give me a second. This is going to be a fluid situation, so you are going to have to bear with me. You are going to have to bear with me here. Okay, I'm checking email. That came from Pebbles, so that means you don't use email. You use X, right? Do I need to look? Hold on a second, guys. Let me try to find. Okay, sent a link 9 minutes ago. Okay, here we go. Oh, I already knew that. Where am I going here? Jake, let me just go through here. Okay, Jake, can you see this? Let me see what this is. I don't know what means go to the email. I'm in the email, but I don't know where we are. Funeral percussion for Jaden Spicer. I know that was beautiful. We'll get to that in just a second. Is there something that I need to be looking at in my email related to the case that we are... okay, showing the body. Hold on here. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so here we go, guys. It looks like Jake is out there. Oh, you guys can't see this. Hold on. This is what it looks like. It's set... Okay, it says, was on our way home and came across the search party for Emmanuel Haro off of Highway 60. Jake Haro can be seen with detectives. So we're getting some information, and I'm pulling this in right now. Here you guys go. This is information that we're finding out right now. People are passing. Jake Haro was out there. Jake Haro is the one that showed them where he was. So Highway 19, we don't know where this is in conjunction with their home, with the Big Five, their path of travel, but he is out there. There he is, right there. He is out there with them, shackled. Hold on, let me find that spot here. We're getting close. There it is. There he is. You guys see that? Can you guys see that? Let me move this out just a little bit more so you guys can see him. There he is, right there. Right there. So that's where they are. They're off a highway. It was him. Yep. That's in underneath Moreno Valley. Yep. He's in the jumpsuit. Yeah. So we are learning right now, for anybody that's coming into the chat, that we had breaking news while we were covering this case. And it sounds like, thank God, baby Emmanuel. You know what? Thank God baby Emmanuel is found. But let me tell you guys something. I'm going to say this. I'm making myself big because you know what? This pisses me off. You guys see my big old face? Do you guys see it? Let me tell you guys something. This pisses me off. He's out there. I want you guys to pay close attention to this. Who's the one that broke their silence first? Now, you could try to convince me that Rebecca is a victim. I need to go the other way. I need to go the other way. Hold on, guys. I got myself too big now. I can't get myself small enough. That was fun. That was fun. My big old cranium. Did you guys see my big old cranium? I guess I could have done that. That would have been much easier. No, I wanted you guys to see me eyeball to eyeball. I wanted you guys to see me eyeball to eyeball. But how crappy? How crappy? Don't tell me she's a victim. You don't tell me she's a victim. It should have been her. It should have been her that broke her silence. It should have been her. It should have been her. She's not a victim, Care Bear. Absolutely not. And you have this animal take your son off this world. God, I'm praying to God that we find him intact. That would be another hallelujah, because if everything that we're hearing about the hardware shops and the power tools and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? It's just it's disgusting. No, she's not a victim. We took the veil of victimization away from her yesterday. We pulled her card. And I just want you guys, because as I was about to say, thank God we're bringing him home. Yet another child gets to come home and gets to be laid to rest. But damn, where's mommy? Where's mommy? Where's mommy? Let me move my head so you guys can see that piece of twat lady. Sorry, not sorry. These are the cases that just unnerve me. It really are. That poor baby. That poor baby. You know what, though? It's just, I wish the state would have worked right, because he deserved life. But you know what? If this was going to be his life, I'm glad he's with baby Jesus. As awful as that sounds, I don't ever want to think of any child being abused or hurt or anything. But you know what the silver lining is of this? He saved a sister. He exposed these horrible monsters and what they were doing. That little baby deserves so much. I pray to God. Yes, I pray to God that they do something for this beautiful baby in that community. I hope the community of Yucaipa comes together. And really, because it seems like they were great people, and shame on these two sickos trying to stain that community and tell the whole entire world that community is violent and snatches babies. Shame on them for that, for giving them that stigma. Shame on them for that. Shame on them for that. But there you go, guys. We're learning some. Let me go ahead and pull this back. I can't show you guys my screen when I'm in my private email, because we keep things confidential when people send stuff. I want you guys to always feel comfortable sending me things. And some of you guys send me things but don't want to be involved. You guys just send me stuff for me to be in the know or for me to share. But you like your anonymity. So I try very, very, very hard to give you that. Let's see what Becky just sent. Okay. It looks like he went ahead and did put this in video format, so we can actually see it now. Let me go ahead and pull this up. This is Ahmed. There we go. There we go. This is Ahmed. Let's go ahead and see what we can learn here. This looks like what we were originally looking at first. So
see here in the Badlands that is today, it has now lived up. The California Highway Patrol is here. The investigators are here. We got more police throughout here, right along Gilman Springs Road. Jake was here. He confessed. We already had the story that Jake had confessed, but we were waiting for this to break, and now we have footage 1080. Ahmed Belloso, we have found Emmanuel, homie. Amel Belloso, you can see here is...
All right, guys. Well, I had a lot of stuff. We're going to still go ahead and roll through this stuff. We knew the parents were, and out the gate too. I just want to say this to my audience. You guys did an amazing job. When we first brought this case out, we didn't know what we were working with. We saw one interview and people were it was I think this was the fastest turn of my audience, I think, in the history of the Bullhorn Betty channel. And I'm not being facetious about that. Because this was one of the very first videos of interviews with parents where my audience was like, nope. They immediately, the people in my audience, which is sad because for people to be this in tune with the healing of black eyes, it makes me concerned. And God bless you, beautiful people in here that struggle or have struggled with DV. Because I know for a fact that there is no way, I have DV in my history too, yet I've never had a black eye. I've had a lot of other injuries and a lot of violence things happen to me. But the black eye was something that I didn't have. I've never experienced. I've experienced a lot, but not a black eye. And my audience immediately knew. There's no way you would know, and that's what they told me. If you've had a black eye, you know that is an old eye. And they told me that day, days old. Because I said, oh, it may be a day or two old, and they said, nope, days old. More than 5 days was what somebody said. Oh, thank you, Ashton. And it says, thank you for always giving it your all. Aw, thank you. But that's what I love about that Ahmed guy, because he gave this his all too. And he was boots on the ground. Many people, when you're on that side of things, you don't know how hard it is being on this side of things, okay? And not just this side of things. Right now, I'm in the comfort of my home. It's not really that uncomfortable for me, if you get my drift. But when I'm out there in the field, and you guys have seen me for years being out there in the field, being on lives for 9 hours in 90 and 100 degree heat, it is hard work. And I'm a healthy individual. Okay, I've got no medical issues going on with me. I'm not on any type of medication. I take vitamins. I take ibuprofen. Like, this is my best friend when you're over the age of 40, But I'm not. He is like fresh from chemo treatment, y'all, out there. He's the one that kept us all looking great out here on this side of the screen. Because without Ahmed, this case wouldn't have been so informative. We wouldn't have had things so consolidated and concise without him. I'm not saying that the other content creators out there giving updates in front of the house weren't good, because we're going to see a lot of them. A lot of people did great jobs. But Ahmed, he was the one that was out there. He was the one out there in the middle, in the dark of night, turning over every stone and every, just everything. There were people with him. He did have an entourage, but it was him. He was the one pushing this story forward. He was the one that had his whole heart in this because of his walk that he's had. We all talk about these walks we have that get us where we need to be and where we're at. Well, his walk obviously was, it was a very painful walk for him to be there and where he's at today. And so please, I gave it my all. I think all the content creators out here was giving it their all. We just wanted to make sure this baby boy was brought home and could rest in peace. I think we've accomplished our mission. I am privileged that I got to break this on the YouTube platform. It's hard for me to digest how anybody could ever hurt a child. It is the most disgusting and depraved crime. And it is the type of crime that gets emotions. It's the type of crime that makes people stop, makes us all come together. When these type of cases happen, we're not asking where we're from. We're not asking what we know. We're not asking our political leanings. We're not asking who their political leanings are. We're not asking what color of skin they are or what nationality or religion they are. We don't care. We come together here in true crime to bring these cases to light, to make sure people have round-the-clock attention on these cases, running 24/7. It's a labor of love. It's tough to do, but the result is we have things like this. Do you think these parents would have not shit a brick, excuse my language, if they didn't see all those people outside of their homes? You guys have a lot to say about people showing up at people's homes, but I'm telling you, you want to talk about public pressure? There's nothing more than public pressure, you looking out your window and seeing 50 cameras in your face. You're like, oh shit. Tell me you're not. It's effective. It works. If I didn't believe it didn't work, I wouldn't do it. It's very, very, very effective. And I think it came to them. It came to all those people out in front of the house. It came to every content creator on these platforms saying, we do not believe you. You are full of crap. Where's our baby? Where's our baby? Give us our baby back. And we have Emmanuel. Now, granted, we knew it. What we were not going to be prepared for this day. So I'm going to be shutting this channel down now that we know that he's going to be able to rest in peace. I need to unwind and kind of regroup. We've got a lot of stuff that I could show you. It's going to be going back. This can wait until tomorrow. I think everybody just needs to be with their family. You guys need to be praying over this. But just remember, I know as cliche as this sounds, he's not suffering anymore. Okay? He's not suffering anymore. He is pain-free. He is happy. He's going to be loved. Just, please, we want him here with us because we're selfish people. We want to see these babies thrive. But this was not his calling. His legacy is his calling. And that's where we all come in, is making sure that there is a legacy, because Emmanuel Haro deserves that legacy. Beautiful, perfect baby. We are tired of covering these kids. I will tell you, I don't care who you are, if you're a parent ever debuted on my show, we are going to tear your life apart. We're going to go in every aspect of your life. We may even show up to your front door. If you don't want to see us and you don't want to put your community through it, keep your damn hands off your kids. But I want to make sure that people across here understand that there are consequences, not just consequences in those courtrooms. There are public consequences to their actions all across this country. And we will hold them accountable. And we're going to hold the people that hold them accountable. And those people accountable. And those people and those people and those people accountable. These are our children. One thing you do not do in America is go after our vulnerable. If you're that much of a coward, there are a lot of people that aren't cowards that are going to drag your ass right out here to the public and the open and expose you. These parents lied. They stole our heart. They murdered their child, and they tried to lie and dupe the public. Kudos to the people that knew better. Kudos to the law enforcement out there, and shame on these despicable parents. No officer should have to be doing what these officers are doing out there. Those people are grandparents, they're moms, they're dads, and they're going to have to recover this little boy. That's not fair to them. That's not fair to that community. That's not fair to that coroner, that medical examiner, the detectives. It's not fair to any of them. It's not fair to any of them. So make sure you tell them thank you. You make sure you tell them thank you. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate your time. What a sad day today. I'm glad they've got to bring him home. We knew the ending to this story when we first started out on this story. And as sad as it is, I'm just glad we've got the baby. You know, he deserved better. And now that he's with us, he will get better. I do believe in the people of California that they will not allow these monsters to ever get to lay or touch a blade of grass outside of prison walls again. I believe in the California people. California, you do right by your baby. You do right by your baby. God bless you guys. Have a wonderful night, and we'll see you tomorrow.